Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead.
And I am Nathan from Nathan Does Beer.
And welcome to episode 189 of Beer Now This Is the Podcast, the top 10 breweries in Ontario for 2024.
Yeah.
Woo! And boom. Nate, this is the episode that we're waiting for all year.
Yes.
All year. This one and the Quebec one. We shot the Quebec one last week. Now it's time for Ontario. This doesn't really get any better. This is it. What a year, eh?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, this is one of our favorite episodes to record, and we know from the numbers that it's everyone's favorite one to listen to too.
By far, like leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
This is the one every year. So, we always try to make this it's our most funnest episode, but it's the hardest one.
And it is hard. It takes the most prep work for sure.
The most prep work. And would it be fair to say that 2024, this was the most difficult year as far as our top tens and then combining them and getting
it was really tough this year. I think we made our lives easier by changing the methodology by which we chose it. I think that actually made it easier than it has been in previous years, because I think if we had done it the way we did in the past, it would have been even harder. I think that and we can explain what we did the same as we did for the Quebec one, rather than just agreeing on a top 10, which is what we've done in the past, and that worked fairly well, and we agreed on most of them. We may have needed to decide on one or two, but this year what we did instead is we each separately made a list of our top 10s and then assigned points based on their position in how we ranked them. Yeah. So, and then we just basically compiled those two lists together, whichever got the and whoever had the most points, we just cut it off after 10. Yes, and that's that's how we decided on the ranking from 10th to 1st.
Yes, and we introduced it in the Quebec episode, and we have 4 of us on that one. So we actually did that for the last 5 years, the same way that you described. And then now you came up with this point system, which we implemented there, because we actually had a stalemate over the Brewery of the Year for Quebec. And we're like, fuck, how do we navigate this? So the point system was the way that you came up with, and it was so much better. Now, the one different thing is that in the past, there was not an order. We never had it in any order. When the order we presented it, I think me and Matt for the first one, when we did Quebec, it was in alphabetical order. In other years with you and I, we've presented it in a way that we both are going to drink all the beers from all the different breweries between us. And we would be like, all right, whoever does the first one, you get that one. And then the next one, and we'd spread it out.
And we just picked an order that staggered it to make sense that way.
Exactly. Now, this year, because it's an actual top 10 with a point-based order, and we're going to do it from obviously 10 through 1, it's not very balanced with the beers, unfortunately, for us, as far as like who's drinking what. The first 3 are me, the next 3 are you. Like it's kind of annoying. So that's okay. I think it's better that we take the L on that side as far as like the drinking thing, as opposed to making sure that the breweries get represented in the best way possible. So
agreed.
I think that's it. Yes.
And I think the only thing that I would add to that is don't think too much about the order. We're not just there's not really anything kind of objective or even subjective to say that the ones that are in spot number 10 are better than the ones in spot number 3. Yeah. It's like we just had to we had to put them in some kind of order, and this is what we felt made sense this year. But it's not to say that we like the breweries at the top of the list better than the ones at the bottom of the list. Like, these are all our fave breweries, the ones that we thought killed it in 2024. So all of them are our faves.
Well said. I'm glad you said that, actually. as I was looking at, I was picking up for some of the beers today from Duran. I was looking at the list. I'm like, man, all of these breweries are impeccable. Like,
Yeah.
they are the breweries that arguably we bought the most and went to the most over 2024.
Yeah.
And that comes to my next point. We say this every single year, but I feel like this is the largest caveat for this whole concept is whilst we understand that a lot of you guys are going to have different opinions on like, nah, what about these guys? They should be up higher. Or why did you include them in the top 10? All this is like Nate sort of said, is our personal preferences for the breweries that we drank a reasonable amount from. That's all it is. The opportunity cost of all the different beer that's available in this impeccable market is pretty large. So you're going to have to pick something over something. Not to mention the beers from other places outside the province. Obviously, Nate, you're right on the border. We're drinking a lot of Quebec stuff. We do a top 10 Quebec. I lived there for 10 years, so of course we're doing that. I've been traveling to Buffalo essentially every month, and over the summer, some larger American trips. So I've been drinking a lot of American stuff too. So we're gonna miss some stuff. It's just bound to happen. So just so I don't want anyone to ever get like offended that we miss someone, because nothing's intentional. It's very much, this is just our personal opinions from our experience. And maybe if you do see think that someone's missing, let us know why, and then maybe we'll try and get some more of them this year.
Yeah,
I would.
Tell us who your faves are if they weren't in our top 10. But all that being said, I'm going to say the same thing here that I said on the Quebec one. If your fave brewery is not in our top 10, it means they're shit.
It means they fucking suck and they should close down. JK.
I'm obviously kidding.
Obviously kidding there, folks. So
I just love to throw that in because anytime there's a top 10 of anything, best breweries in X city, everyone is always like, hey, you forgot about my about my local and whatnot. It's like, it's all right. It's We're not saying that if it's not on there, it doesn't mean we don't think they're great.
Yeah, and also absolutely right. And we drink a lot of different styles. Like, we're into a lot of different stuff. So I feel like that this is a pretty well-rounded top 10 that represents all the different stuff. Like, we're not like some hype haze thing, all like top to bottom, or big fucking pastry stouts or whatever. So I feel like we've got a nice little balance thing. But maybe there's just maybe we haven't made it out to your favorite local brewery yet, or we just couldn't get it where we are. I guess you can always order, but either way, we have to say that at the beginning of everyone.
It's a big province with a lot of breweries. There are some that we haven't been able to try yet, and hopefully we'll be able to correct that the longer we keep doing this.
That's it, and this is our 3rd year running, I think. Is it? Yes, it is. Yeah, I think because we started a lot later. Because Quebec, we just did our 6th, so this was 3rd. Yes.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
You're right.
The year that you kind of we were like, hey, you're like full-time co-host, that I think that was the year we did it for the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I think we weren't sure, do we need to bring anyone else in? Like, fuck it, this is just me and you. We talk to all the people ourselves. So this is just our humble joint opinion. Who the fuck are we to judge anything? This is just the breweries that we like the most. And I was talking to one of the breweries yesterday, and they were like, fuck, it's going to be hard for you guys because you have them on the pot. You know all these people. I'm like, yeah, we do. Fortunately, we're very fortunate to know these people, but I don't.
That does make it hard.
It makes it a lot harder because I don't just think of the beers. I think of the people behind it. That's what we do. So all that said, without, too much more rambling, that's where we're at. This is going to be fun. Get some beers ready and drink along with us because this is going to be sick. So, Nathaniel, shall we start get this going?
Yes, number 10.
Number 10. So this one is on me. I'm going to crack this beer. You're going to crack a beer. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting fucking 30 minutes before you.
Yes, I just won't show you what I'm drinking until we get to one of mine.
Yeah, so you can take all the photos and all that stuff. So this one, the first brewery in the Ontario, top 10 breweries in Ontario for 2024 is True History. Oh, I wish let me just give it there we go. Oh, wait. There we go. Oh, it's the end of the last applause. This way. Guys, True History. What a pod that was. That was 2023.
That was 2023, and it was one of our faves that year.
That definitely was one of the best pods we've done. I don't think I've laughed that hard on a pod before.
Oh my God.
The
Yeah,
milkman
you, you
comment,
you were losing it.
dude, fucking dying. It was so funny. Those dudes are the salt of the earth. Go on.
And their attitude towards brewing and just kind of like the commitment to do it, like to brewing beer the way they do, is absolutely remarkable. Like, and I
Yeah.
like
Head,
short
mate.
of one or two others, I can't think of anyone else with that kind of commitment to doing lagers that right.
Oh no, there's a few of them, but probably like five in total, and
Yeah,
they've absolutely made themselves. Um,
stand out among them.
oh my gosh! And on that note, I was going to say this before. There's been a bunch of breweries in 2024 for this list that were on our like special mentions list or
Yes,
breweries to watch list
yes,
in previous years. So to me, the biggest like coolest shit about this year's list is there are so many breweries who were previously on breweries to watch that easily aggressively made this list.
yes.
And I think that is the coolest shit. So true history, that'd be my biggest regret of 2024 is not making it down to the brewery yet.
Yeah,
Dude, I tried I think 3 times. Every single time I text Adam and they were closed or he wasn't there or something happened.
right.
And I was super annoyed every time that went down. So I didn't get to make it down because talking to them on the pod, they're telling us about their what do you call it, the Luca, not Luca
A Lucre
Fountain,
Tower.
Luca Tower. I'm gagging to try it. Look, when I was whenever I go out, if I went to the Brain here in Hamilton in like November, and they had the Tamave on tap, so immediately I'm like raced to that beer. It was spectacular. Like you said, the dedication to quality, the dedication to the styles is so impeccable. There's only a few other brewers that do the same thing, and it's so crazy. Like this one here, I haven't actually had this. Mostly foam. It's a 4.7% Dortmunder. Shasta Zenon on the glassware. That foam is amazing. Oh, it's glorious, man.
Yeah, and I've had that one before too, and it's fantastic.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
What's the ABV on that one?
4.7.
4.7. Okay.
4.7. So it's just money, dude. Whenever if I'm ever out and see him, I get him from Durand a lot. The boys are awesome. I love their social presence. It's so funny. Adam is hilarious the way he writes. I think that just makes him more appealing as well. That like it's just like you can tell it's just a dude who owns the place
like
writing.
and he writes a whole story too. Like it's
Yes.
like each post is like a big brain dump for him. It seems like
Yes, it really is. And he's like so honest about everything and self-deprecating.
deprecating.
Deprecating. I said defecating. Sorry,
like
Adam.
Self-devastating.
That either or. I really like that. I find that really charming. And
Yeah,
the breweries that commit to a style like this that takes an insane amount of tank time is like got the world of respect for them, because they just like how are you're choosing a slow style. It's like kind of like breweries that do a lot of farmhouse or barrel aged stuff. Like you're choosing a style that just takes ages to make, and it probably sells pretty quick, I guess. But like it's just like this dedication to that time to make it the best it could, and you can do it quicker. But as I said on the pod, they do take those longer, 12-week lagering and stuff to really like get it to where they need it. And it's that dedication to the quality. Like they're already collaborating multiple times with Godspeed. They're invited to all the I think they won didn't they win the jacket at Point Carré in Montreal? Like they did in that lager contest, the purple jacket thing. And that was even potentially in 2023. And I feel like last year they've just gone from strength to strength. Like I feel like they've been invited to a bunch of festivals. I know they did Will Cleveland's Real Beer Expo in Rochester, which was sick, along with a few other fantastic Ontario breweries, which I love to see them down there. Like I feel like they're starting to really build a name. People know them, man. People know these guys.
Yeah.
They know that the beer is impeccable. It sounds like they got their food program up and running too in 2024. The Austrian style, from what I understand. That's why I really want, because I had my friends from Batch Brewing in town. They did a collab with Badlands in December. And the plan was, I was like, oh no, I need to go there and I want to take you there. And it was a Monday. Text Adam, he's like, oh, we're not open today. fuck, okay. So that was another time missed. That was the most recent one. I was really hoping that it would work out, that before I knew they were going to make this list. So I was like, really beforehand, I really wanted to get that experience. So I got to still make that happen. But yeah, they couldn't deserve it more. And it's even, isn't it a cool success story seeing them, like they went from contracting to like and doing different styles, to then leaning into the lagers to get in their spot, and then having and just even from just us seeing them grow, learning more about the brand, talking to the guys at length, and then seeing, watching them on social, drinking the beers that just keep getting better, and then being on the one to watch, and then now like easily in the top 10. It's I think it's dope.
Absolutely. And just and you mentioned like how they run their socials and whatnot. Like they take really, really quality pictures of their stuff, and of course all of it poured on Lucre. And you can even just look at just looking at their pictures makes me drool every time, because you've got like this thick head of Lucre foam on it, and like it looks delicious.
I just want to eat it.
Yeah,
like it looks like,
if you've had like for anyone who's had anything poured on a Lucre before and knowing how good their beer is, it's like, and not to say that it isn't delicious from the can, it absolutely is fantastic from the can. But like that, so that beer on a Lucre would like just the mouthfeel alone would elevate it tenfold.
And I don't believe either of us have experienced that yet.
Not theirs. No. We've obviously both had their cans several times, but neither of us have have been on site yet, which is
we're gonna have to rectify
a sad mistake. We're gonna have to correct that this year.
Yeah, fuck, man, it's crazy. But yeah, even when I had the Tamave, which was A1, I don't believe it was Lucre at the brain there, but there was a great pour with a wicked head, because I've been there before and had I had some Godspeed there, and there was basically no head on the Sklepnik day. And they had no head. I was like, oh, we could be pissed about this. But it was cool to see the maybe it was just that bartender. So it was cool to see it represented as well as it could be outside of the venue. You know what I mean? Like if not everywhere has, I don't think beer bars typically have Lucas at all. But
no, not typically.
No, but either way, man, I just feel like I really feel like they're just beginning. I feel like it's like super early days for them, and they're just going to keep getting better and better and better. And
I think so.
I was telling Tiff earlier about him. I'm just like, yo, we nearly need to go, because she loves Godspeed. So I was like, oh, you're gonna love this. We need to go there. And I was telling her that they'd already worked, done collabs with Godspeed. Like, I'm like, if Bim, like, basically she knows Bim is obviously a genius. And I was like, well, if Bim thinks they're good enough to collab with, then that kind of says it all. And I just think they're fantastic. So if you're able to get down there to Sinclair in Toronto, to the tap room and the brewery, or if you're not, you should be able to. You definitely can order online if you're anywhere in Ontario, and that goes for all of.
I actually don't think they ship online yet. They were talking on the pod that's something that they're hoping to add at some point, but not yet.
You know what? Oh, they got start shopping on the website under construction. Gotcha. Okay, you're right. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. At the very least, a lot of specialty stores would have them. So, you got Sidewalk in Kitchener, you got Durand out here. There's a bunch of other places that maybe there's one near you that you like. I guess they got Lupulus and Dominion in Ottawa. Yep. So there's a few places, if you're not close to Toronto, that they should have them. So keep an eye out. And if your favorite independent store doesn't have them, tell them. Get some true history.
Tell them to get some true history.
Yeah, so A1, man. So well deserved. I'm very excited to see these guys continue to grow and flourish and just continue.
Absolutely. It was the kind of thing that, like, if I think if in 2023 we had them earlier in the year and had the opportunity to try them a few times, it would have been like no question.
No. Oh, that they would have
been. It was just a case of by the time we tasted them for the first time, I think in like October or November, maybe.
Yeah. And I don't think we understood how good they were.
Yeah. Well, we certainly had an idea, and that's why in the 2023 top 10, we said that this was definitely best new brewery in Ontario, no question. So it is right that they were that from last year to this year to to be promoted right into the top 10.
Yeah, you're good memory. I just double checked. You're right. Best new brewery they were. So it's I'm very excited for them. So Adam, Matt, you're champions. Love yous.
Love you guys.
And excited to see you guys continue to slay it, man. So beautiful.
Absolutely.
First brewery down. This is a banger. Alrighty, Nathaniel.
Yes.
You are up
Next
on
up.
this one. Oh fuck, this is me. I haven't even finished reviewing this beer yet. Fuck. Okay, it's okay. I can do it. I can do it after. All right, this is me. Where is it? All right. That's right. I totally forgot that this is like a triple.
That's right.
Back to back
That's
to
right.
back. All right. Are we ready? You announce it, and I'll hold this up.
All right. So next up from Prince Edward County is Slake.
Ooh, look at that. Yes. I thought I'd let the applause play all the way out this time. Slake, bro. Have they been in our top 10 before?
They have not been in our top 10 before. This is another debut.
Shit. Dude, I know you got the best memory out of us. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
I think
crazy.
I think it was either last year or the year before they were on a special mention as best view.
Oh yes. And you know what though? We also didn't know them and we hadn't had them on the pod. And last year in 2024 we had Nick on the pod and he was...
not to say that being on the pod is a prerequisite, but
no, sorry, that made that sound
no,
bad,
it's really not. But
well, we only had
I think we kind of had we had a vague idea. We both had their beers here and there, but I think that we'd both been to Slake at some point in the last year, and like you said, we had Nick on the pod, got more of a sense of the story and whatnot, and they were always on our radar as ones that were very, very good and that we both loved quite a bit. But having had more of them this year and and also getting a sense that their stuff is continuing to improve, it seemed like a clear choice this time around.
So obvious, and I felt like on the pod we had all beers, most of them we'd had before. Like there was and even Nick was sort of trying to was being unnecessarily apologetic, being like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't get you guys some new ones," because they did I think we did slow and like a few other ones that were more like LCBO brands that were their flagships. That we'd had, and I'm like, it's okay, bro. This shit is fire. Every time I go there, I would get some stuff like this. It's fine. I'm never upset to have say Hatch or there you go.
or Little Flowers or is it Little Flowers or is it Yellow Flowers?
Yellow Flowers, and then the one that starts with M. Is it called Mellow? Is it the
Mellow? Yes,
Mellow, the Pilsner. All of the they're crispies. They're lighter bodied IPAs and stuff. They're just killer. I kind of just found they were like. I feel like I found a deeper appreciation for them. Yeah, is really how I feel about Slake. I didn't. It just helps. Not that being on the pod, like you said, makes a difference, but it's just seeing the person behind it and understanding the thinking behind the brand and all of the heartache that went into getting this beautiful business running, which is always cool to hear those stories. And like to point out how much of a gem Nick is. Two things. One, Bebo told me that he said the person I speak to as much as my wife is Nick. I talk to him every day. He's such a champion. Texts all the time with different stuff. He's just such a G, and that's a great cosign because Bebo is just one of the best humans. And then second, on the pod or either just after, he was like, "Oh, next week or in 2 weeks we're dropping this new haze and this West Coast IPA because we were gassed up about the Westies." Then all of a sudden, I totally forgot about it. Box rocked up at both our houses with the beers, the one that he told us. I'm like, what a fucking champion. Once again, that's not why they're on here. But it just sort of spoke. I'm like, I don't know. I just find that endearing as hell. I'm just like, that's like a dude who's really passionate about his products. Yeah. And it shows. It shows in the experience when you go there. It shows in the beers and like sort of all of that to say, like, I feel like I understand them a bit more. I understand why they're not doing 8% double IPAs or, they haven't really done too many like sours, and they've got their farmhouse program. That was one of the ones that was quite surprising to me how good that shit was because I hadn't tried anything before. We had one of the fruited saisons on the pod. But yeah, I feel like I get them a bit more now. And I think now with that understanding of them, and I feel like they were just every time I got any beer, impeccable. Yeah, the quality was A1. It was balanced. It was just money. They did such a great job of everything we'd had. They did so many collabs with some of the best breweries in the province as well, on both ends.
And outside too, they did a collab with The Catch.
Hell yeah, they did. Of course, yes. And the collabs are awesome, and it shows sort of a bit more variety in their skill set. Like maybe
Yeah.
little different approaches, different tweaks because they bringing the other brewery in would get their flavors kind of in there. It's that sort of felt really valuable to me.
Yeah, and
Understanding it.
I felt like I like you are right now cracking into Jingle, which was in their like in
Westie.
their holiday set of releases. That's the Westie from it. I had that one
Yes.
too, and it was really good.
Yes.
The one that stood out to me from that from that trio though was Clementine, the IPA that they released that they released for that one, and it was excellent. When I grabbed that, it had been a couple of months since I last had something from them, and I was like, okay, I'm keen to have to have some Slake again. And that one is such a good representation of their take on IPAs because they are very focused on approachability with all of their beers, including any of their heavily hopped beers.
Agreed.
Is a tough balance to strike, as as anyone who drinks IPAs knows. And that one is one that is it looks like something heavily dry hopped, like it's thick milky haze, and so it looks like it's going to assault your palate, but it is so soft but also full flavored, which like to have all of that together, like really thick haze, but have it be but still have it be like nice and soft on the palate, but and still have like a lot of full tropical juicy flavors with like a really pillowy kind of thing going on to it that is really easy on the palate, is something that they do so well. And that and that's true with all of their beers.
Yeah, that's a great. I'm glad you brought that up because that is a big part of it too. Like their approachability and that mouthfeel. It's so soft and so smooth, and it's all in a lower ABV. Like this right here is 6.2, and it's spectacular. It's so bright and fruity and balanced and just bitter enough, but not too much. Like I feel like they make a lot of like very approachable. I don't know if I'd always, call it gateway beers, but extraordinarily approachable for whichever part of your craft beer journey you're at. Whether you're fresh getting into it and you're sort of discovering some stuff, it's going to be like, oh, these are really nice. You get, wow, this, like the way you described it perfectly. Like this is super smooth. This is like creamy. Wow. And like, oh, this is a West Coast IPA. Oh, I don't like hops. Oh, you try this. It's actually really bright and fruity, and it's got a little bit of that stuff in there, but a bit of pine, bit of resin, but not too much. And I feel like they're appealing to both more experienced drinkers and the noobs in basically the same way with the same beers, which I think is cool. Not many breweries can strike that balance, I think.
Yeah. Lots of breweries say that's their vibe, and a lot of ones that say that their beers are made for approachability some breweries who say that, it can very often mean that like it's kind of boring on the palate, to be honest. Like it's really the hot flavors kind of fall flat. And and it just doesn't really hit on anything. And for me, that doesn't really meet the goal of being approachable if the flavors just kind of fall flat, which I find can often be the case. But that is not the case with Slake at all. It is approachable. It is easy to drink, but very, very full flavored, and and the body on everything is extremely on point. Like there's nothing missing from it.
No, and as you talk, even a Westie, even this is creamy as hell. Like
there you go.
Still, how like Westies are often can be maybe closer to lagers as far as their like the body. This is still
it can
got
be,
that.
yeah.
It can be, not that that's a bad thing, but this still has that creaminess, and you're like, oh wow, it's just like such a nice melange of flavors in this that like speak. I feel like, and Westies, obviously we gas up Westies here a lot because you and I are massive into it, but it's like there isn't an insane volume of these in Ontario. We don't see too many, but I think like even if like they might, how many do you think Slake release a year? Like 2, maybe 3?
I think there have only been 2 in 2024.
Okay, so it's Jingle and then the one that we got when we did the pod.
I think so.
Which I forgot the name of it. I think it was a brown label, but yeah, I think that's
Maybe
You
it was
appreciate-
Rattle. I think it was the one with the
Oh,
snake on
Rattle.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, that was a bang. I think this is even better, to be honest. Like,
Mhm.
Rattle was great. I think this is even more. So it's different, completely different beer. That was maybe a little more like sort of, I think, amber and a bit more like aggressive, whereas this is a little softer and
Yeah.
and smoother. But yeah, I like that. I like that they found their lane and they've been around
Oh,
for
for
I
sure.
want to say like 5-6 years, was it? I think
That
it was like
sounds about right.
2019, 2020. I always forget the years, but I've been there at least half a dozen times. Like every single
Yeah.
time I've been to Prince Edward County, I've been to Slake every single time, and
Yep.
it's like it's unmissable for the view. If I got somebody with me, take Tiff's mum there. She loves it because you're like, yo, imagine
Oh my
sitting
god,
there,
yeah. There's
watch
no
the
there's no
sunset.
better place in the county to watch the sunset.
It's money, particularly like in the dead of summer, 9 p.m. Sit there cruising. You know, it's the best. It truly is. It's such a wonderful experience. Now they got their food program too. I know they got tacos, I think now, like in-house, so it's don't have to bring your own. You got everything there that's like not just like cheese boards or something, like full proper food, and
Yeah.
it's so big. There's like chickens walking around and stuff. I remember last time, and like big
Yep.
roosters and stuff. It's so I don't know. It just feels like you've gone to a different world. It's awesome. So like great people, great taproom experience. Which in this market, when everything's in a very strange place, that taproom experience is going to be the thing that saves a business. I think in this hospitality world.
Absolutely.
And then
And we had a really great pod with Nick too. That is one worth listening to for sure.
Oh, I highly recommend that people go and check that one out because that was a banger. That was a really great one. And Nick was a fantastic guest, and he was just funny. He was just like a funny dude who was passionate. Like I can't wait to have him on. Maybe we'll get him back on this year probably because
we should.
Dude was a legend. But yeah, man, Slake, impeccable, very well deserved. Very happy to see them in the top 10. Rather than get a little special mention or anything like that. Not that once again, you can only get 10 out of 600 breweries or whatever it is in Ontario. Maybe not 600, like 4 or 5, whatever. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. So Slake, well deserved. You bloody champions. Love yous. Alrighty. Now, Nate, we're gonna in every other brewery, we're gonna intersperse a couple of one special mention and one top pods of 2024.
That's right. We've got 5. We've got 5 special mentions and 5 top pods. Sorry, were you about to ask if I if I wanted to go first?
Exactly right.
Okay. All right.
You do the special mention. I'll do the top pod.
Okay, sounds good. So first special mention is a hidden gem award. We did and this is one that we had last year too. Actually, not the brewery, but we gave out a hidden gem award last year, and last year it went to Flux.
Your memory is this. Are you reading this or are you just remembering?
No, I'm remembering it.
Fuck, dude. Good for you. There's no way in hell I would remember that. I love it. Continue. Sorry.
Thank you. Yes. So, Hidden Gem Award this year goes to Good Lot Farmstead Brewery.
I pressed.
Are you doing an applause there?
I did it. There it's coming.
Okay.
Good Lot of Fire, man.
In Caledon, Ontario.
Yes.
Which not far from Badlands. It's in the same it's in the same area
minutes.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, but they've been around in Ontario for a surprisingly long time. It's one that flies under the radar. But I've not personally had the chance to get out there yet. But you have this year. And you and Tiff were absolutely raving about it afterwards, and of course we had them on the on the pod and got to re-explore their beers after a few years, and they really are a hidden gem for sure.
Truly, man. Like the thing I thought was coolest, on top of both Phil and Gail being wonderful humans, the experience there was A1. We went, I want to say it was September, so it was like the first day I remember I had to wear a sweater. And it was so money. Sat at just such a vibe, like live music. We had the food from Soul Life, from the chef Phil Dual, the food was just impeccable, gorgeous food. Never had food like that at a brewery ever, like anywhere in the world, like America, Australia, nowhere. The response from the community was like, I post now whenever I do the pods, I started sharing them on the BAOS LinkedIn. I don't know why I never did it before. I just started sharing the pods there, not like other posts, but just pods. And then I'll share them to my personal. I always tag the people, and so many people were commenting who were friends or just fans of Phil and Gail's stuff. on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. Like people were gassed, bro. It was so cool
Yeah.
to see how excited people were about them and just like so well deserved. These guys are phenomenal. I love, it's just like, oh wow, okay, so we got the same feeling. And anytime I mention Good Lot to anyone, they're like, oh, they're the best. This is amazing. Isn't it cool when you've got like one of those breweries that like is so universally loved? I think it's just
Yeah.
so it makes
And
you
like,
like,
and
all
to
right.
just kind of see the enthusiasm that like that their fans have for them, it's really like that's really great to see.
Yeah,
Absolutely, like absolutely a hidden gem.
absolutely hidden gem. So if you're able to, they have an indoor tap room, obviously throughout the winter, which looks awesome. That's where they filmed when we did the pod. But if you're able to get out there in the warmer months, in the patio, the beer garden, where you sit next to hop vines, you can eat killer food. You have that. Even the music was perfect vibes. Like it wasn't too loud. You could still talk, but it was cool background stuff. The servers were lovely. The variety was awesome. It's just such an experience. Like if you're going to go to a brewery, it's not really that far. Even from Toronto, Hamilton, it's like an hour. It's
Yep.
less, 50 minutes or something. It's very, very much worth it. I could not emphasize enough. So
Yep.
yes, big ups, good luck. And the first one of the top pod of 2024 was episode 160, the cost of brewing craft beer. Now, if is this the one with Troy, right?
This is the one with Troy. Yes.
That's what I thought. So sorry, because we didn't talk about this. Nate picked them, and Nate picked the right ones. This was a great one. This one technically, in hindsight, should have been on the business of beer
Yes.
series, but we
Yeah.
only started
It
that.
just happened. Yeah. It just happened to come before we had the idea to like to kind of section it off as its own series. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And actually, the story with that was Tiff and I did a episode on New Year's Day last year, and I think it was called like "Why So Many Craft Breweries Are Closing," something like
Yeah.
that. And Troy from Badlands heard that, and he was like, "I want to be on, and I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about Badlands. I want to talk about that." I'm like, "Well, we want you to come on separately to talk about Badlands." He's like, "Yeah, cool." But he came to the crib, and he had I think it was about 10 pages on a Google Doc with graphs and information and just notes off the top of his head about all the different things with the costs, whether it's the cost of hops or malt and all the different issues with the drop in hop or malt production. Funnily enough, I think about 2 days ago he texted me screenshots of an article that was talking about this new they're called MRLs. It's maximum residual levels or something
Hmm.
in Europe. So basically, the EU are dropping the level of maximum pesticides essentially that are allowed on hop products or agricultural products, including hops, which
Hmm.
means that all of the hop producers who sell to the EU, with including probably the ones in the EU, have to change their processes, and there's no grandfather clause. So if you've got $10 million of hops in a warehouse in Yakima, you can't sell any of those to the EU anymore, or
Oh,
you're about to not be
jeez.
able to because they're
Yeah.
not going to meet the requirements. So they're not
Mhm.
letting you like sell off the stuff that was produced before the change. Um, so he was right about the things he was talking. And the point saying he told me that because a year ago we did that pod, and
Right.
that was one of the things that we talked about. So that was a really fascinating one. That was a
Yeah. He
one that
went.
was
He went really deep on that.
super deep. And I feel like this is and all of these episodes inspired the business of beer. So there was those two.
Exactly.
There was the one with
Exactly.
Shahan from Lost Craft. There was one with Jeff from Town. There was Andrew from Fine Balance. I think we had all of those, and then I can't remember where the idea came from. But it's probably Tiff. She usually comes up with it. But it was like, yo, let's do that. And we had a different name for it. Shasta Aiden at Henderson gave us a total different name for it, which
Yeah.
became Business of Beer, which I appreciate. I think that's a better name. So
It is. It is a better name for sure.
it's a bit of a community effort, eh? Like having
Yeah.
this series,
Absolutely.
and we haven't pumped out enough lately. Lately, it's been a lot of regular adjunct series stuff, but we're gonna get back to it. But yeah, that
Yep.
was
We're
like
gonna get back to it.
the best way. If you want to, you could go and check it out, whatever, wherever you any podcasting. But on YouTube, we have a playlist called The Business of Beer, and it's not just the 7 episodes we've done; it's all the ones beforehand and anything we've ever done on YouTube that weren't even podcasts, like shorter videos, all on one playlist of all anything to do with the business of beer. So that's actually a really good place if you just want to get like nerdy about the industry, particularly I imagine people already in the industry or people thinking about getting into it. that'd be a really great place to start. It's a fantastic resource with a lot of intelligent conversations, not because it's us, because of the other people that are on it. It's a banger. It's really good. So
Yeah.
definitely one of the best pods of the year. Alrighty. Me again.
Yes, you again.
Fucking Christ.
It's okay. You get a break after this one.
That's cool. All right. This one. This is a brewery that I don't even know when they opened. Haven't had them on the pod yet.
Yep. It can't be more than a year or two ago.
Exactly. I would say they opened, it must have been 2023, but they opened a tap room in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It is easily the brewery that I've visited the most in 2024, by far. And their beers are so unique for the province and are so well done that I love going there because it forces me to drink something that I don't always voluntarily drink at home. And that brewery, folks, is Barrel Heart.
Yeah.
Come on. There we go. Gorgeous stuff. Look at this artwork. So nice.
Look at that label. My goodness.
It's stunning. So Barrel Heart is run by Mark and Elaine. Mark Horsley is a fellow Australian expat here in Canada. And he is responsible. He's a G. He's been on the pod once back in 2018. We still have to do an episode with Barrel Heart. But he started the barrel program at Nickelbrook. So he spearheaded all that, which is the Kentucky Bastard, Cafe Bastardo, all that shit, which is impeccable. And then Patrick from Blood Brothers took over and kind of went from there. Mark then went to Bench, and he started Bench Brewing's barrel program, including all the fooders, everything, which is just exceptional and very unfortunate that they got rid of that program. And there's a fucking cool ship upstairs that's collecting dust. But he did that, and then he started his own project. He left Bench, and this is like, I've never seen this man so happy. Like, I always felt like he's just dealing with, he's like an artist in beer. And every time I see him, I say, bro, you seem like stoked. He's got a smile on his face. He's chatting. So I went to the original tap room that they had in Ancaster, and that one was just like what do you call it? Like a full-on industrial warehouse with like 40 square feet of space or whatever for people. There's like a bar with like 6 seats and then one table to the side, and that was it. So Tiff and I went in one day, and we were like, just to see him, and he was like so lovely. We met Elaine, his wife, and his kid, and basically walked us through all these beers. I'm like, this is amazing. When he opened in Dundas, so this is old. You and I went actually. You could speak to your. I'd like to hear before I explain. Basically, there's an old post office, and they opened up a tap room in there. But while I pour this, tell us about your experience, because we went in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving weekend that we went.
Yes.
As like you were about to say that it was like it's in an old post office, and the first thing that I'm just thinking, I'm like, as we're walking in, I'm like, holy shit, this is the location for the brewery. This building is absolutely gorgeous.
It's crazy, right?
It's a building with exposed brick walls and super tall ceilings, and with huge windows, lots of natural light coming in. And like, we were there in the fall too, so it was absolutely gorgeous outside. And just the vibe is just so pleasant in there. Just everything about it is just like really just comfortable.
Yes, comfortable is a great one. There's a local, like they use a local carpenter that we happened to meet because we went on their opening weekend, and they opened May 24, and it was like Mark's birthday, I think. Like, it was a whole bunch of stuff, and they just opened it up, and it's so well done. It's so classy.
Yeah,
it's just like, it's such a beautiful spot, and they always work with a lot of local. This is hard to take a photo of. I thought I had this, that's why I picked it, but I haven't. They work with a lot of local restaurants, so they bring in. They're about to open their own kitchen, but they've been working with their like Maisie Pearl, which is like a guy who we've been to they have a restaurant now, but they were just like pop-ups. And they bring some oysters in. There's one called Smithers Sausages. And they have these sick, like gourmet, like kind of like hot dog. They make the sausages, they make the bread, all this stuff. They make the sauerkraut. It's awesome. They have the local pizza. They have just all this, and the raclette. I think they've got like this weekend some cool Quebec
Yeah.
raclette, which is exciting. And it's just the way they pair. They have this awesome food. It's slow beer, so it takes a while to get your beer because it's like a 3-step slow pour because you get this beautiful big pillowy head, and it's all poured in the what's the name of the glasses? Like there's Belgian tumblers that what's a fucking brewery?
Yeah,
Rodenbach uses.
it's not a tumbler. Oh yes, sorry. I know the ones you're talking about now.
Yeah, like a Belgian tumbler. Well, they also use stemmed
Yeah, I
glasses.
don't know the
That's
name
why
of it, but yeah,
I chose
they
this
also
one.
they also pour some of them in the like in the stemmed ones. But yeah, I know the tumblers that you're talking about now, and I can't think of the name of it. But
Yeah, but it's like one
yeah,
of those beautiful. Yeah, go.
while you were talking about the food there, I wanted to like come back to that because the food that they have there seems to be really, really well thought out for the kind of beers that they have.
Exactly
'Cause,
that.
you mentioned raclette and and they've got like the sausages and cheese, like good like charcuterie spread like sort of thing, which with very effervescent like barrel aged beers and like in kind of farmhouse styles and whatnot, it
Yes.
works so well with that. Like because if you have like meats and cheeses and things like that, like things that are a bit fatty, beers like Mark's are that are quite effervescent and have that farmhouse quality to them really cut through the fat of the like of meats and cheeses super well, and like it just makes for such a harmonious combo.
Mhm.
Delightful, and like that's really really thoughtful to kind of have that pairing there.
You're so right, and that's part of the beauty of these guys. Like that level of pairing with exquisite beer that goes with, and there's so many different styles. They got the fruited stuff right now. This is a wine barrel aged goza with coriander seed. I'd had there's this called Washed Away by Sea. They had another one like Washed Away by Sea 2, and I thought that's what I had, but this is the original one, so I must have got this a while ago and hadn't had it yet. It's phenomenal, like a 6.5% goza in a wine barrel. It's like lemon and citrus, and it's bright. The salt is just right. A little bit of stone fruit. It's just like it's so balanced and it's so well made. And Mark always said he's like, the beer tells me when it's ready. He has no external pressure from a manager, from a boss to tell him, hey man, we need to get we need these bottles out. Come on. And he's like, I think that's why he's happy. Because
Yeah,
he's making he told last time I went there, I think it might have been with you. And didn't he say to us, he's like, sometimes I drink this beer. I'm like, fuck, I made this. It's crazy. Did he say that to you?
Yeah. And that's when he was saying too his whole shtick about the like the beer tells you when it's ready. He was telling us that then too.
Okay. And I think that's, isn't that what a privilege for him as a brewer to be able to have that. And at a time when this is the best part, when we went to the first place, before he opened the second one, the actual proper tap room, because the other one's now it's not a tap room, it's just straight production. He was saying, I was like, oh man, are you doing all right? Like, because this farmhouse, any breweries that make farmhouse as their main thing typically aren't doing great. He's like, yeah, we're profitable, killing it. I'm like, fuck, all right, amazing. So I think they might have because he would have got some go up from bench because he started and he also had Bruck's House, which was a craft beer bar in Hamilton that unfortunately they closed down a couple months after we moved here, and I didn't get a chance to go, but people always gushed about it. I'm like, fuck. So I think he sort of had just enough capital from saving and from other investments that he was able to do that and start the business in a really smart way. So you weren't going in there with this insane debt, which a lot of people do, because that's just what beer is, a capital heavy investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and I say that to say not to put his business on blast. I don't think he's like shy about saying that, but like I think that's the best way. He started a brewery super smart in the best possible way, and now has full control over everything, and no one's telling him what to do, when to drop the beer, and he's extra happy with everything. And then his wife Elaine is so lovely, and it's just like both of them are just like bright in the tap room. I think they have got some staff now, but every time I've been there, it's been the two of them, and they're just like, it's just vibes. They're just chilling. Hey man, what you need? It's just like it's so like everyone's in a good mood there all the time.
Yeah.
It's that's why it's my favorite place, and I've been there gotta be at least half a dozen times. We just look tiff, we like wake up on the Saturday like, look at Barrel Hop, like, let's fucking go. What do they got today? Their social media is impeccable, by the way. You go to their social, you know exactly what's happening. It's so easy to find out what events are on, what they're doing, what food's going to be there, all of this stuff, and it's it's just like it's one of the best taproom experiences personally I've ever had. I would say.
Yeah, it was absolutely delightful to be there for sure.
Yes, very very cool, and I guess it was only right when we would put this list together. I was like, oh, there's no way that Barrel Heart aren't going to be on this damn list because it's just they deserve the salute, and like people need to know more about these guys, and we have to get them on the pod as well. But they need to know that how good this beer is and how exquisite this shit is that's being made in our backyard.
Absolutely. I don't think it's I don't think it's exaggerating to say that like no one in Ontario is really doing what they're doing right now. Certainly certainly not at that breadth and not to that level. It's it's for me, from what I've tasted so far, it's like on that front, it fills a hole that Half Hours on Earth left.
Ooh. That's interesting.
Particularly with with their bottled stuff. Like obviously their canned stuff was a bit wild and crazy and kind of a whole other thing, but their bottled stuff, I've not really had anything that's been quite on that level before what I was tasting at Barrel Heart. It's the kind of thing of like Feral Heart, the farmhouse lager.
Collab with
that was giving me echoes of Advanced Drinker.
Yes. Do you know what? We were looking it up when we were there.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that. You're right. I see exactly what you mean. Yeah, like not the craziest stuff, but the quality of that. Like every single time I go, they start with a Feral Heart. Now that the first time it was just like one batch, and then now I think it went so well that he's like, oh, everyone's loving it. And they didn't bottle it the first time, it was just draft. And then now they're like, all right, we're bottling that shit, like getting it out there. Yeah. So it's just like classy, it's affordable, it's the highest quality. And like I took Tiff's mom there when she came into town, we're like, oh, we need to take you to this place. And we came on a day where they had the local pizzas, had this beautiful, fresh cooked pepperoni pizza to go with the beer. They, I've dragged her to a bunch of breweries, so she knows what's up, but she had like the wine barrel aged. This one's also wine, but there was another one that's more got some grapes and stuff in it. So they've got stuff, basically something for every palate, like blackcurrant, raspberry beer, peach, apricot, all different fruits, and then a whole bunch of non-fruited ones that sometimes is dry hopped ones, and just a bit of taste for everybody. And then of course the lager that you're talking about. So I just feel like they got and now they've got a whole bunch of really cool wines, like local wines. They make basically non-alc, like it's like almost 0 ABV type of stuff, like super super low, like 1 or 2%, that they make themselves, which is awesome. So they just got such, they got games for kids and things. So often like you see like a dad and his kid or something like rock up and have a brew with the kid. I always like seeing that because I know you do it a lot. I've said that to you when
exactly
go out with you guys go to Stankiem or something like that and just post up, and he gets to chill and draw and eat, and then you get to crush some fire. It's, I don't know, to me that's like the perfect experience. It's so cool. So seriously, if you guys are able to get down there in Dundas, Ontario, which is right next to Hamilton, kind of on the way from Hamilton to Burlington back towards Toronto, so it's probably an hour tops from Toronto, depending on traffic, if you got a reasonable time. But yeah, man, amazing stuff. Very
absolutely
well deserved. Love it. Alrighty.
Well, that was just before we move on. So
yeah,
those first 3 are 3 debuts on the top 10.
You're right. And you know what? The next one's a debut as well.
It is.
Wow.
Can we do a quick pause before we get into that one? Just because my camera battery just died and I don't want to start this without without being on camera.
That's a great idea. All right, we'll be back. You guys won't even notice, and we are back.
And we're back.
Nathaniel.
Yeah. So you were like we were just saying, the first 3 were all debuts on the top 10, and the next one coming up is also a debut. So 4 debuts on the top 10. Cool. I don't think we had this many debuts last year.
No, I didn't even know if we had any.
We must have had at least 1 or 2. I'd have to. Oh, wait a minute. We've got the list all in the. We've got the list all in the same note here. Yeah.
No, so Godspeed was on then. Rorschach was on the first and second.
It was.
Oh, Counterpart last year was a.
Counterpart was a new one. Yeah.
There was a Fine Balance.
We also had Sawdust
So,
City in the
and
top 10 last year, which I don't think we did the year before.
no, that's true. And then Town as well.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so 3 debuts. That was more than I thought, actually.
Yeah. Who got Brewery? Oh, Godspeed last year. Brewery of the year.
Yeah.
And who was the first year?
And Badlands,
Badlands.
was the first time.
Okay. Yes, and the first year, the best new brewery was All My Friends.
Exactly.
And okay, interesting. So it's good to see like which ones are in different places. Okay, cool.
Yep. And and they didn't know this, but you just teased the next brewery up in the list. So give a round of applause for All My Friends.
As soon as I said it out loud, I was like, "Oh fuck!" I didn't mean to. I was just reading. I was like, "Oh yeah." It was a genuine curiosity. I was like, "Ah,
yeah,"
but no one would know. So
That's
well,
okay.
well played.
It
well
worked.
played. Well played. All My Friends. What a year they had, eh?
Oh my God, yes. So yeah, so this is another one that I'm really glad to see graduate from an honorable mention to the top 10. They had a banger year. The quality of their stuff went up very, very notably from the year before, I felt.
I couldn't agree more. I was actually saying that to someone yesterday that I feel like their quality overall, like they started off like pretty solid. Did they start in 22 or 23? 23. Was it 22? Fuck, it's such a blur. No, it must be 23 because I lived here.
No, I feel like it was 2020. Was it 2023 that we had them on? It must have been early 2023.
It must have been. I'm trying to see if I can find like they don't have like an About Us page on the website. Yeah, it must have been 20. Actually, you know what? I can actually tell All My Friends BAOS podcast. February 2023 we had them on, which means they started in 2022. Cool. There you go. That's how
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh shit, we're gonna get them back on.
Yes, I've been trying to. They've the guys have been busy.
Yeah, well, making some of the best beer in the province, clearly.
Yeah. But yes, they are, and so they are what I like. So this dicey here is what I cracked initially while Craig was going through those first 3, and I'm almost finished it now. This was among the group of the last releases that they did of the year, and it is absolutely delightful. Rawaka and Moteka, it's a fucking banger, and they have been putting out a ton of ones like this. Like Super Thick Haze is the bulk of what they do.
Yes.
It's by no means all of what they do. In fact, they dropped their first lager earlier in the year this year, and I think have had it available pretty regularly ever since.
Yes, and it's I think it's intended to be some sort of a flagship as well because they've got a bit of a different design on the can. It's gorgeous.
Exactly. It is gorgeous. Design. Yeah, like the kind of all black and gold.
So
thing
classy.
Going on.
Yeah, great beer too, and it was cool from a brewery that's known for exactly that, like that milky haze, making one of their flagships this killer. Like I think it's 4.5 or 4.8. Pale lager.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
But yes, the quality of their stuff has really, really gone up. It's like they're very, very reliable in what they put out, and a big thing that they did this year that that you and I are extremely keen on, and I think that they do it the best of anyone in the province who have done it, is terpene beers.
Easily, like there's some ones that do pretty well, but I feel like they lead the pack for sure. And
I think you'd agree 2024 was definitely the year of the terpene beer. Like that's been more of a thing this year. Well, I don't think I ever really saw it before. Like there's been people, there's been folks who have talked about it.
But no, that's not true. I saw People's Pint did it in like 2018.
Oh yes, you're right.
But that was the first time I ever heard. It was very lemony, but they did it. There was kind of like they didn't do haze, so they did it on I can't remember the base. It must have been like a Westie or something like that.
Yeah. It's been all over the place in 2024. Like lots of folks were doing it as a 420 beer, obviously, but the first one that they put out was was for Blood Brothers Over the Tap, and it was and it was called Blackberry Kush, and it was and it was a big double IPA, and like that has got to be one of the dankest IPAs I've ever drank in my life.
Liquid weed.
Oh my god! And like and the aroma too, like just like absolutely pungent weed, and like it was just insane. And like this is so wild because I'm really not a weed guy at all, but I love like really dank beers, and I love beers that smell and taste dank. I can't really explain why, but I absolutely love it. And the whatever it is that all my friends are doing when they make terpene beers, it's way danker than anyone else does.
That's exactly it, because there was the blackberry kush and there was the buds one that they did with Third Moon, which was, I think, around their anniversary, a few months later. Was that sound about right? 420. Okay, so he literally like 3 months after Over the Tap, because Over the Tap now this year is 31st of January, and yeah, there's something, the way that they nailed it, and I have a feeling it's in the base beer. It's the way that those terpenes like interact with they work better. We had them like Kanawaki Brewery did it in a lager, which was fun. Obviously I had them. I don't know if you had that one from People's Pint back in the day, but like from a
No, I never did.
like whatever the base was. I can't even remember. Maybe it wasn't even an IPA. Maybe it was something else altogether. I forget. But like that was cool. I was like, that's fun, something different, whatever, but it didn't like put me onto terpenes. But the way that all my friends do it, it's just, I really feel like that milky fucking like hot, burny green, hot haze works perfectly to marry with that dankness. Even though it's funny because you're saying you love all the dank flavors just like I do, but I when you were saying that, I was like, oh, Nate, because you're a West Coast guy, you love the Westies, and so do I. But god damn, it works well, doesn't it? With that haze, it's just like I don't even think it would work as well. And do you think? Okay, there's more of a question. Do you think it would work as well in a West Coast base than it does in the haze?
And and I was going to bring that up actually because because there was one West Coast that had terpenes in it that I never got to try, that I was actually hopeful to.
Who?
Farmley did one with a Prince Eddie's.
No shit. When was that?
I forget what it was called, but I think it was like Hot Noise or something like that.
That's a cool name.
It's something like that. But they did a West Coast with terpenes that I was really keen to try, but I never got my hands on it. And I really wonder if it would work. I think it could.
Excuse me. I'm just trying to see if I can find that beer. I guess it could. I don't think it couldn't, but I think you're right that like it can work. What did you say it was called?
Like Hot Noise is what I'm remembering, but I don't know if that's right.
Okay. Show sold out. Here we go. Show the sold out beer. Maybe on their website they're a little more of their standard, like their sort of flagships type of stuff. Yeah, it's not really. I'd probably have to dig into. Oh, there's one called West Coast Hoppers. No,
that's not it.
No, I probably have to check on tap. But yeah,
I may also have the name wrong.
It's okay. Either way, though, I think I'd be curious to try it to see if it can work.
I would too.
But either way, though, after trying the Blackberry Kush buds, then they did one on the Third Moon side, which was really good as well. I felt like the AMF side kind of like tipped it just a touch. Like I think Blood Brother, maybe there was a collab. What am I thinking? Blood Brothers? Maybe I'm thinking the Blackberry Kush then. Who else did on?
Yeah,
is that it? That can't be just...
Willibald. Rorschach did one.
What was it called?
For their anniversary beers, they did a terpene truth serum.
Of course, yes, I had that. That was good too. That was actually
one was good.
Yeah, that was really good. Maddie's a G. Either way, yeah. And then I think Willibald did one, didn't they? No, they didn't.
They didn't. That one was a bit of a psych out because it was called Terps. Because of a new yeast strain that was supposed to bring out that vibe. That one tripped me up a little bit.
Yeah, they got us on that one, you bastards, Cam. Okay,
but anyway, back to all my friends. Just have really drilled down on on kind of what their thing is, and I think they found their groove this year. And I've
big time
this year I've been keen to try as many releases as possible because they've just been that good.
You're 100%. Not to mention the other things we haven't given them a shout out for. Gusher, their smoothie sour series.
Yeah.
The first one I believe was on tap only for their anniversary, which I think was April or May or something. And then they started canning them. So I managed to get. They got one of them at Durand, I think, or did we do an order? I think we might have split an order one time and got it. No,
I didn't end up having the Gusher, so I'm not.
that means I
So
got
I'm
it from
not
Durand.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Fuck, thank God for your memory. So I definitely tried one from. I was very impressed with that because I know smoothies aren't the easiest. They can go kind of either way, and that was fantastic. They also started their soda sour series as well.
Yep.
So there was one that was like it's like candy soda. I forget. One was that Ryan linked me. I saw him at Third Moon, and he gave me some of the. It was like some sort of raspberry one. It was fantastic. It was really nice. Like I quite enjoy that style, the soda sours. I think they're the only ones to do it aside from Third Moon, from what I've seen with their
Yeah, I think so.
Milton Dew and stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel like they're become more. They've introduced the Crispies and they're doing that really well. They introduced the smoothies, the soda sours. They've been doing more of the. I think maybe in 2023 they might have done like one stout, and they've been doing more of those sort of 9% non-barrel.
Oh yeah, I can't believe it. I hadn't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
Like their stout program is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Like they like really kind of luscious and theirs usually have some adjuncts in them. Like they're very much like dessert stouts most of the time. And they even did a lower. They even did a lower ABV one this year too. I think it was like 4.5%. Still very much on their kind of like candy bar stout vibe, but a lower ABV version, which was really cool. And like they do that super well, like super silky smooth, really rich flavor. It's fantastic.
Body seems to be something that they're very, very good at, and they've really drilled down. It's like they're like Bill. Is Bill the brewer, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, guys, if we forgot. I haven't actually met. I've only met Ryan, so I haven't met the rest of the team. I always forget.
Yeah, well, I met Bill when I was there. When I was there on site back in.
Rob is the other dude. Yeah, yes, when you went down.
Yeah, because it was Ryan and Rob that we talked to on the pod, and then Bill is the one that I met when I was there.
Correct. That's why I know the name. Okay, cool. So I think that Bill's usually the one that goes to the collab days with people and stuff, since he's the brewer. But either way, he's just smashing it. It's very impressive. It's so good. Everything they're doing as far as body is great. They're nailing every style at this point that they're doing. They're doing Westies as well that have been
their
Westies
have been great.
Really solid. Yeah, really solid as well. The ones that I've had, I haven't had all of them. Once again, opportunity cost this year. I didn't have as much as I would have liked. It's just a volume thing. But yeah,
we'd be remiss too if we didn't mention the artwork.
Oh yeah, the artwork is iconic. They did I see whenever they do a collab, often the other brewery kind of almost does like a mimic of their artwork. They do such a good job of the art. Like
it's so unique.
It's so unique. It's so classy. It looks expensive. Like it looks like they got metallic on the labels, that they're not cheaping out on all of these things.
No, not at all.
They've really turned themselves into a high quality, phenomenal brand. And I feel like if you just want to pick in that little part, all in the same-ish region of Prince Edward County, from all my friends, Matron, Slake, and Dune Hopper, all in the same area, basically not too far, within a few 5-10 minute drive of each other.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, man. Like that's a pretty special part of the Ontario craft beer scene right there.
I would say so.
Some of the best in the province, all in that one space. So
yep,
it's been really cool to see these guys do it. And like I said, I love that you brought this up, that there was the first 4 on this list, all new entries, which shows this is what the best part of all of this is. They're new entries, and if we're doing the same breweries, like give or take year in and year out, it's only year 3 of us doing this, so there's not enough data for us to like look at yet. But that would probably suggest a stagnant craft beer scene where only some of them are really overperforming. The fact that we've got 4 of, and I think once again the rest are not all new entries, but the fact that we have like 40% of new entries that is phenomenal. And I
That's a
hope it's
great ratio.
and this was once again, this is how hard it was. Like these guys beat out other more established breweries because we really felt like these four deserved it, like to be in this top 10 from the beers that we tried in 2024. And I think that's exciting, man. In a time when beer is everything's shutting down and everyone's, like downsizing and there's a bit of fear and fair enough too. It's not unfounded fear, but things are uncertain. Man, there's some fucking killer people doing some killer beer all through, through all of those obstacles. And I think that needs to be acknowledged. And,
Absolutely.
It's very encouraging and very exciting. I think Ontario has got to be one of the best beer scenes on the planet. No hyperbole or exaggeration on that.
Agree completely.
It's beautiful.
With that, it is time for another interlude of special mention and top pod. Do you want to take the special mention this time?
Yes. You know what? I actually don't know what you had in mind for this one. Is there anything?
Oh, okay. Well, I can take it then if you want.
Yeah, just because I don't know what you specifically had, and I can do that. I can swap around for the next one, just because when you did this, I don't think you're wrong, but we didn't talk about it, so I don't.
No,
that's
fair.
Speak to the points.
That's fair. All right. So this one I called the Unconventional Approach Award, and it goes to. You ready with the applause?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It goes to Lovebird.
Big shouts to Lovebird. Yeah, shouts to Alex. What a G. Tell me.
So why I called it this is Lovebird are a contract brewery / bottle shop.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I mean by the unconventional approach here. And
gotcha.
Their business model is pretty creative and not typical for a brewery that starts out in contract. With a lot of breweries in Ontario that go the contract route, it's a bit unclear which direction they're going to go in. A lot of them do have ambitions to to open bricks and mortar, which Lovebird does.
They're working on it right now, I believe. They
exactly
actually got the space, yeah.
Exactly, which love to see and really want to see that come together.
Super cool.
Yeah, and so there's a couple of ways in which I find their approach unconventional. First and foremost is that in addition to contract brewing, is that they also have an independent bottle shop, which is
Lovebird
really cool.
Snack Club.
Yes, Lovebird Snack Club. So they're in Thornbury, Ontario. And this was a way that allowed them to sell their product out of their own door, which is not something that most contract breweries are able to do because they don't have the brick and mortar location to be able to do so. So this was a way for them to be able to contract brew while being able to sell their own products out their own retail space, which is pretty cool. It's a creative way to kind of get around the legal intricacies of contract brewing in Ontario. So really shouts to them for kind of that ingenuity of being able to deciding to go that route while also selling products from other great breweries in the province.
Yes. And I believe they have a bar there and you can actually drink the beer on site too.
Which is great. It's awesome. I love that.
Which is so smart because then you can also, that's one way. If you think about it from a contract brewery, the main problem with that is that they don't have a way to directly access their customers because they have to sell to a third party to be able to sell to it. Now, if they are also the third party under a different license, they can sell to themselves, which is still ridiculous. So you got to do it, but I guess it is what it is.
Yes, it's very convoluted, but the system is what it is, and they found a way to work within it, the way that in a way that most contract brewers don't or have not explored yet, at least.
Yes, and it looks like I'm looking at their website right now. It seems like the menu right now they've got 2 beers on draft, and it's just their beers. Everything else is cocktails, wine, and food. So they're not even so that's actually kind of cool though. So it's really a classy sort of experience with you can like it seems like a normal bar that just happens to have their exquisite, and that's not even to talk about we haven't even mentioned their approach to their beer yet as well, which
Yes,
is
and that
super
was
unique.
and that's another thing which I find to be unconventional, because when you think of a lot of contract brewers in Ontario, what you end up thinking of is like, oh, well, I mean, there tends to be, like with a lot of them, a pretty standard model is, you tend to see a Kolsch or or light lager, or there tends to be a pretty formulaic thing with with a lot of them, and that is not the case at all with Lovebird.
No.
I was blown away with the first few that we tried, and one in particular that sticks in my mind is that like sourdough Hellas.
Yeah, Emma's.
Emmers, yeah, that was the bakery that they that they collabed with on that.
So
That
cool.
was so creative, and they've got like another one was like an Alsatian Pills, which which I can only think of like 2 or 3 breweries that I know of that have made that have made something like that. So they are committed to kind of making a brand for themselves, like right down to the beer, which right, like straight off the bat, even during their contract phase, which I think is very unusual and very important. Like it's they're making a name for themselves in a way that most contract brewers don't, I think.
Definitely good, and I love as well that it's a husband and wife team.
Yeah.
Running it all together, and I don't know if I ever got her name, but I talked to her a bunch on social on
Yeah,
DMs on
so have
Instagram.
I. And I can't think of her name either.
Yeah, goddamn, I don't know why. I don't even know if Alex ever told us or if I ever asked her, but she's lovely, really switched on. Like it's so, and I got to hang. Fortunately, I got to hang with Alex a lot at the OCB. Like every day that we were there, we hung out, and what a champion! Such a good dude.
Absolutely.
Just like he was on the pod, we had a great business to be a pod with Alex and Michael from Gather, the Glassware, and now Brewery, which I'm super happy for him about. And it's so cool to see the translation from hanging with someone on the pod to hanging with, and just it was seamless. It was just such a cool dude. And now if we're both talking to his wife and the way that they're building out the business and turning this, they're really being thoughtful about the aesthetics of it. I just think it's going to be sick. I'm really happy for them because I think they're just going to be pumping out some killer crispies. And now they're dealing with the contracting and they're happy with the beers. And I think the beers are fantastic, to be honest. And it's not always the way when you're contracting, but once they get full control and do it, I think they're going to just they're going to be.
I think so too. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, great award on this. This was awesome. I'm glad I let you kick this one off because that was a perfect explanation and very, very well deserved. And I feel like if you want to say we don't have like ones to watch, there's going to be some ones to watch, particularly once they get their spot open and once they get rolling. I think they're going to be something special, which is for sure. Awesome. Great call. Alrighty, now the next one in the top pods of 2024, I can definitely speak to this one. It was episode 162 called Quincy Bones with Chris and Bebo of Third Moon. This one, if anyone is familiar with our relationship with Third Moon, is extreme, I guess. And the first pod, which Nate, you went on, but it was me and Noah with Chris and Bebo, and we think we did 4 hours and like 40 something minutes. Which
was absurd at that time.
It was absurd. The last hour and a half was Chris showing us his epic basement with all of his beers and stuff. It was just out of control. Yeah. Then when we had the pod in 2024, we're like, well, what? We're going to let that be the record now? Like, what? You think we're just going to do less
like
than
after
that?
Like, what are we going to do after that? Like, just do like a 3-hour one? Like, that just seems silly.
No, it's embarrassing, really. So we did a 5 hour and 7 minute pod with them. And we didn't even stretch it. It was such a fun podcast. Like those dudes are the salt of the earth. Everyone who meets them always raves about them. They're just so welcoming, hospitable, really passionate, hardworking people who just love beer. They love what they're doing. Their brand is impeccable. The pod was just really cool, just to really like hear them talk as well. But also the fun part for me was like we had 6 beers. All like I think, and I really enjoyed the way we were drinking because it was like crispy haze, crispy.
Yep.
and the final haze was their quad IPA, 11.9%. That's where
Oh
you
my
and I
God, they were trying to kill us.
they were trying to kill us, but you and I got kind of tripped up there. That's where we fumbled and we called it a day.
Yeah.
Chris not only drank that, then he opened, I don't have the exact one here, but one of these short cans with the wax, the apple brandy one, which is 13%, after an 11.9% quad. And if I'm honest, 11.9% quad. It'd be if you know, you know. And fuck, what a beast.
we gotta say too, the quad like the quad IPA was not a short can or one of those silver bullet cans. It was a full tall boy.
It was a 473. It was 16 ounces of terror. That's what that was. What a pod though, man. It was just so fun. And I would highly encourage, like, I think some of those beers are probably still available. I know we had Love Lies Bleeding, so that wouldn't be, but we did have Rise, which is available year round.
Yep.
We had I think we had the regular kills. We had the black IPA, the black lager kills, and we had, I think, the Nelson kills. Look at me. What am I, Nathan? Remembering this stuff? And yeah, so you mostly would be able to drink along if you watch the episode now. You probably have to watch it in parts unless you're crazy. But it was just like, it was just an extreme thing, and I feel like we're going to keep doing it with the boys and make it as ridiculous as possible every single time. I don't know if we're going to keep pushing 6 hours. I'd like to get to like 5 hours and 14 minutes. Like, it doesn't have to be 6 just yet, because 5 hours is a long time.
I think 5 is enough. I'd be fine with pushing it to like 5 or 10 minutes more, but like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's a lot, but every time
it's a marathon.
It's a marathon, and we can't not do it though. That's the thing. Maybe I'm going to start a bit earlier or something like that. But
yeah,
it's such a vibe. Those guys are the best. So that's a really really fun pod. So episode 162, Quincy Bones with Third Moon. I definitely that was one of the best pods of the year for sure.
Absolutely.
Records. Alrighty. Next up, this is Nathaniel again.
Yes, it is. And now we go to where the fuck is Ayr, Ontario for Willibald.
Hey. Legendary. Nice. You got the hell as well. Did you get the big pack or did you get the individual?
No, I didn't get the big pack. I grabbed a single can of hell from Dominion City just today.
I love it.
Yep.
Willibald. I think they've made it every year, no?
I don't know if they've made it every year. They did.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Wasn't this adapted from their old Dortmunder?
Oh, sorry. I meant made the top 10, not made that deal.
Oh.
Yes. No, you are correct. It was sorry, we were both saying separate things. So yes, this is their third year running in the top 10, and of course, well deserved.
You were right on that.
Yes, and that year, that beer it wasn't the Dortmunder. It was called, oh my god, what's it called? The one we had it on the pod, and they told us the one with the pink writing, and there's different versions of it.
Oh yes.
What's it called?
Now the name is escaping me.
I can picture it, and there was different color text for each version that they've done.
Yep.
Willibald,
I can picture it too, but yeah, it's not coming to me. And yeah, no, I was thinking of the export, which we had.
The export.
Yeah.
Yes, we did have that on here. It's not coming up immediately, so that means I'd have to try and find it. But either way, this is now a new flagship from them that they're dropping in 12 packs, which is super cool, like the American style with the carry handle and stuff.
Yep.
Keep going. Sorry, yes, fantastic beer. What a great beer. We had that on the pod, and it was a banger.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic 4.8% banger.
Beautiful.
And look how good it looks in that tumbler.
Oof. Spectacular.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things about Willibald. Like you said, they've been on 3 years in a row, and it's one that's no hesitation. This was an easy choice for us.
Easy.
We've been fans from the get-go. That when we first tasted them back in 2020. Was really big on their haze in those days, and have been ever since. And hang on, I think it just came to me. What the fuck was it called? So it used to be in the silver can.
Yep, silver can with the pink writing.
See through. That's what it was called.
There we go.
Oh, okay, we finally got there.
Well
Oof.
done. I could tell it's bothering you.
Yeah. No, sorry, that just came back to me because I was thinking like, no, wait a minute, that was one of the first loggers I had from them. I must like I must have known. Okay, we got there. I'm so glad.
It's that was a banger of a beer, but it was interesting. So once again, your memory is always more valuable than mine. We first tasted them properly in 2020, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I remember I want to say 2017 that Will from Rosewood was telling me about them, but they weren't brewing beer at the time. They were a distillery, and they were working with them from Rosewood on some shit.
Yeah.
And he was gassing them up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So these guys, and like, it's like you guys need to get out there and check that out. And at the time, I guess they weren't brewing, or maybe they might have been about to start the beer program, but we didn't. I guess we didn't. It wasn't until 2020 we got hold of it, and every time we have I've been there a bunch of times. You and I went. I think that was that our first time? I think it was both our first time when we went, right?
That was both of our first times, yeah.
And that was a rainy Victoria Day.
That was a rainy Canada Day weekend, not this year, but the year before.
Canada Day. Was it Victoria Day?
I'm pretty sure it was Canada Day weekend.
Canada Day? Okay. Well, I trust you over me. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. So across the board, like I've said, we love their hazies from the get-go. See-through has always been great. Their stouts have also been money. Like Limbo was a great big 10% imperial stout.
Yes.
Like that they do every so often, and that's another one that kind of like when you first taste it, and that's like a no adjunct, just kind of like 10% imperial oatmeal stout, and it is money. Like super, super luscious. And that's one where you just really get, because it's no adjunct, just getting the full appreciation of like the flavors that a stout can produce, just kind of like those dark chocolate and coffee notes that really come through strong from from a really, really great stout. It's absolutely money.
So good.
Yes. So
all the styles they do. They nail it.
They brew great styles straight across the board.
From crispies to pale ales, IPAs, doubles, triples, quads, fucking barley wines, stouts, as you mentioned, barrel aged stuff.
Yeah.
I bet they've done all sorts of different lagers as well. Like you mentioned, the export, like the Dortmunder, Vienna they've done, which is fantastic. They nail everything they do. They've really got their recipes down, and they got such a fun, cool brew house. It's amazing.
Yep. They put out some fire Westies this year, which has been great.
Yes. Yeah. We're talking about the Terps.
Yes.
And what were the other Westies? The names are escaping me.
The names are escaping me as well. There was a collab that they did with Bellwoods.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! What was that?
They called it a country IPA, but it was.
I had that
truly
one.
A West Coast.
With the Clip Clop.
Yes, that's the one. That's it.
I had that on draft, and I had it in the can. It was fantastic. That was a great one. That was a banger. Yes, even that as well. Like working with Bellwoods and lots of collabs they're doing. They travel for a lot of beer festivals. Not to mention, just a quick shout out as well to their other program, like the distillery stuff. So the liquor, the spirits, but also their seltzers, which are like, I challenge anyone to find a better seltzer than Willibald. Tiff just did the order because they did the Black Friday sale as well. Like we could order them anyway, but she just ordered like a case and a half of them. Like just keep them in the basement, just rocks them. She just crushes through them because they're just the best flavor ones, and you know that they're like super well made with no bullshit preservatives and stuff because they're very local. They also have fantastic ready to drink cocktails as well, whether it's their gingerbread, gin mule. They have I can picture all the things. I can't remember all the different ones. They got like half a dozen different canned cocktails as well that are using their own spirits that are just super well made. It's fantastic. And then that's not even to mention the food on premise that you and I had. Every time I've been back, I kept having the same pizza that me and you had. The sausage it's like a sausage peppers pizza, which was just exceptional. Delicious. I had to switch it up. The last time I went, I was like, fuck, I want it, but I got to try something else. And I had one of their burgers, like, with local beef from a farm down the road. And it's so good.
This is another one, again, like what you mentioned earlier with Slake, is that the on-site experience is
Barrel Hot too.
Unreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It really is.
it's of course a drive to get there because it's in it's in Ayr, Ontario, which is in kind of Waterloo region.
Just
You're
under
going
an
to be
hour
doing a bit of
from
a
Hamilton.
bit of a drive to get there from
It's a
wherever you are.
it's a pretty
Either
drive.
oh, absolutely, it's gorgeous.
Unless you're in Waterloo or you're in Ayr.
Yeah, so I think it was like 45 to an hour from Hamilton, and maybe about a half hour drive from KW kind of thing. But yeah, it's worth it. The like to just kind of like be on the farm. Like in any weather, like we were saying, we were there on a super rainy day, and like on their big covered patio, and it was still a delightful time.
Such a delightful time. It was fantastic. That was the coolest part to me, was like being, it was so packed on that day that it was wet anyway. And then another time I went, so we had that time, and then I went again with Tiff and her mom and her cousin, and we pulled up and we met up with, 'cause every single time I've been there, I go to see Cam, I miss him or he's not there every single time. This time
Yeah,
we hung out with Tyler, who was one of their managers, and Gordo, who's one of the brewers, and they took us on a full tour. We got to see the place, or the actual brew house, and then through that little barn on the right hand side, like as you're walking in, if you're going to go to the brewery, on the right hand side, that other place. So that's where they keep all the barrels and a whole bunch of shit. So then by the time we finished, then it was like a 30-minute wait to get a seat because we walked in. We could have just walked in. So then we were like, and this is why I think this is cool. On the day that I went with the family, it was a sunnier day, and they have all these beautiful yellow picnic benches everywhere. So then they have an outside bar. So you go up to the bar and you just order drinks, and you can just sit there and drink and kick it at the table on the field, and then they'll buzz you when you're ready, and they transfer the tab into the table. So then you can just wait and you get to crush some drinks while you're chilling. Then you can go in and order some food. I'm like,
that's so smart. That's so smart.
it was a great system, and it turned a potential negative experience, which obviously it wasn't because we'd already had a good time with chilling, into an extra positive experience, because it was so like can do. Like, hey, look, we're really busy right now, but look what you can do. It's gonna be 30 minutes, but if you want to kick it, we'll buzz you. Just grab, we got a thing here. We'll transfer your tab. You don't even have to pay right now. Just put the tab down, boom, boom. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, like they did something really, really smart there to license that area so that they can let folks grab a drink there, because that's like, who's going to be upset about that if it's going to be like there's a 30-minute wait for a table, but you can still go go over and grab a drink and enjoy this gorgeous space while you're waiting for a table. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Who could complain about that?
Yeah, it's it was a perfect experience, really, to be honest, like all things considered. And I just felt like that was so cool. And even like on our side, like I said, it was raining, but we were completely covered, and we could still sit outside because it wasn't cold, and it was still ramped when we went. It was just like, yeah. And then another time, Tiff and we went, I think it was a bit colder, so we sat inside, and that was the first time sitting inside. That was a vibe too. It was chill. Everyone was just so nice. All the staff are super cool, and the food. It's just like, yeah, Willibald is just, they've got such a great business model. I love it.
Yeah, they've been a special one to me for a while, and and they're going to continue to be for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really think it's something to watch. But once again, you're making it every year. I don't think anything's changing with these guys. They're going to keep killing
No,
it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, next one.
Next up. So we've mentioned these guys once already. There should be absolutely no surprise. I'll show the can. You want to tell us who's next?
All right, guys. The Lords, the 5 Hour Kings, Third Moon. Look at that. There's not going to be a top 10 list of any brewery in Ontario that does not have Third Moon.
No, absolutely not.
And the Third Moon are just a phenomenal brewery. They're coming up to 5 years in May, along with Saint Kian Baron. They're twins.
Yep.
COVID twins, and
right down to the day.
Right down to the day. It's so cool to see them continue to thrive and grow and change up the different things that they're doing and add different things. So like 2024 was a cool year for Third Moon. Obviously, they had their big anniversary drop. They had their big Halloween drop. They've been hitting out to a lot of festivals. So their their IPAs are hitting. Their stouts have been really. I feel like they're almost like the stouts. And you know what? Although IPAs and stouts are arguably what they're known for the most. The second drop of Time Takes Time, which is the stout barley wine blend, exceptional. But I feel like their crispies are almost weird, and obviously the smoothies I think are super fun. They've been the zaniest, most innovation, as we like to say, version of their smoothies. Like ridiculous ass shit. I bought the Swedish fish one today from Durand, and like they've had really fun root beer ones, all this crazy shit. But I feel like their lagers, man. I feel like they're really starting to come into themselves a little bit. Pause on their lager program, like the kills that they've done so many different versions of kills, their main pilsner with different dry hops, and like like we said the black lager version of it. There's another one that they had in Durand today. I didn't get it, but I should have. I regret it. There was another lager. I forgot what it was called. They just dropped it.
Oh yes, I saw that too, but it's also escaping me.
Yeah.
But like in any case, I remember thinking that as well when we did the 5-hour pod, was that like the lagers are hitting like a lot more now than they had than they have been the last couple of years. Like really hitting. And I'm just thinking now, I think that the other one that we had in addition to the dark lager on the pod was the Chardonnay barrel.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't the straight up, it was the Chardonnay barrel one. And that one was dope.
That one, it worked so disgustingly well.
Yeah.
With the base of the lager, like the Pilsner base and the Chardonnay, because there was a Chardonnay barrel one. I thought we had the Nelson one on there. I guess we didn't. It was that one.
I don't think so. Okay. So. I think it was the dark lager and the Chardonnay barrel.
Oh, I was thinking of Rawaka. So we didn't have we had the OG dark and Chardonnay. Sorry, you're right. And they've also done Rawaka Kills.
I'm saying I don't think we had the OG. I think we just had the Chardonnay and the dark.
No, didn't we have 3 lagers? Because 3 lagers and 3 IPAs.
Anyway,
doesn't matter. It's I know semantics, but it's yeah. I just really feel like their lagers are becoming better. When they first did Kills, I was like, cool, that's nice. They're dropping a pilsner. That's fine. These are the Haze Lords. Yep. They want to get into that, and I felt like it was a good start. But I feel like because they've been iterating on it and they've been improving that beer in and of itself, the OG.
They absolutely have.
It really is fantastic. And then now all these different versions, like you said, Chardonnay barrel, different hops, black version. I think it's real. And now a whole new lager SKU. I could check on Instagram what it was called. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just feel like they're really cool. All the while pumping out and a new favorite series from them, which you might echo as well. Left Hand Path, their West Coast IPA series, single hop West Coast IPA. So the last one was Nelson. The last one, what the fuck was the last one?
It was Rawaka, wasn't it?
Rawaka. Yeah, I think it was Rawaka, but they did a Nelson one. I think they've had like 5 or 6 versions of it.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant.
Speaking of Westies, in their Christmas drop, they also did a new one this year called McCrampus, which was a double West Coast IPA. Ooh. I know you didn't have that one, and that that one is like double Westie is peak for me, and that one was excellent. It was one of my favorite beers from them this year.
That's amazing.
It was so fucking good.
So I should get it.
Yes, you should get it. Absolutely, you should.
They had it at Durand still.
Well, if you end up going back this weekend to pick up my shit, you should absolutely grab it.
I'm definitely going to do that then, because I saw it again today, and because you were like, oh, you were surprised that I didn't get it, and it was just because I would always have a single. When I drink, I'd say like have a lager or two, and then like a New England Westie, New England double, and the double is always Haze. I don't know, and I don't really drink the double Westies very often, and that's the only reason I didn't get it. But I would, if I see Left Hand Path because it's 6.5, I'm fucking diving for that beer. So that was the only reason. But then because of your surprise, and then now you're telling me this, I'm like, okay, I got to get it.
No, you got to grab it. I think it was one of my favorite beers from them this year, honestly.
Okay, fuck. And okay, so have you had a bunch of the Left Hand Path?
I actually haven't. I think I've only had one, and I think it was Nelson, I want to say.
Okay. That means then I was just curious to see if it was like on the same vibe because it's probably a different like recipe, I
It's
guess,
hard
is
to, yeah, it's hard to say. I
because
couldn't
of
say
double
if it
and
was the like if it's kind of the same vibe, like ramped up or not. I haven't had enough of them to be able to say.
okay. Um I would just be curious to see what the difference was because I guess the question would probably be have they ever done like a double Westie before? Because I don't
They have, yes.
recall. They have. What do you remember?
The name escapes me.
Was it a
I
while
could
ago?
probably find it quickly because I remember I posted it at some point this year.
Um Either way, um
Oh, you know what? I
the
think I think it was a conjuration. That's what it was. It was like it
there
was a
you go.
conjuration.
Because they
Yeah.
did do some conjuration different Westies. Okay. So conjuration obviously, yeah, like sort of one-off sort of special things in the series, which I love. But yeah, either way, I really feel like they don't get enough props for that. I honestly, Left Hand Path has been some of the best beers from them for the year, in my opinion. I
Mhm.
really rate them. So I might have missed a double, and I could have got it as well. I don't fucking know. It's hard to even remember now, right? There's just so many beers that we're all
Yeah.
going. But either way, I feel like all that to say, I feel like they're a little underrated for their crispies, and I think they're a little underrated for their Westies,
Yep.
which
On their stouts, actually, they like, and I have liked their stouts for a long time. I've been like, especially Each Beast of God, like
they just
their
dropped a
coffee
new one.
stouts are. Yes,
Yes,
I did see they just dropped a new one, and at some point in 2024, they did a four banger, like all like four different types in like in one drop, and all of those were great. Um, so so
the
Each
drop
Beast of God, I think, has always been good. Bestowed, I had been a little bit hit or miss on in years past, just because like for the first couple of years, Bestowed was very thick and very sweet, and and the like the sweetness I found to be a bit much for a while. But the Bestoweds this year have been more nuanced and more like and a lot more enjoyable for my palate.
mm, I would probably agree with that. I got so many fucking. I'm so backed up with stouts. Like I've bought so many, it's actually out of control. So I don't think I've got the did you drink all I didn't drink any of the bottles from the latest release, I don't think.
The only
The
bottle
birthday, you know how they
I
do the bestowed for like the birthday or the Halloween or whatever?
Yes, and I drink I drink the birthday bestowed every year on my birthday. So so I had that one back in September. I still have I still have Time Takes Time Volume 3 to get into at some point.
Yes. You know what? I that was one I didn't. Hang on. So there was is volume 3 was from this last drop. Did they do two versions from the first one? I guess.
No, there were two separate drops.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of like because if you're saying volume 3, I'm just trying to picture. I can picture the blue label and the purple label. Maybe there's a
So
red label too or
hang
something.
on, hang on.
There you go. Make it easier. Always try to remember, guys. There's so many fucking beers from everybody. It's kind of wild. Um.
Yes. So blend number 3 is this red one.
Okay, so that one. This was from the. I can see on there. Is that from the Halloween drop or the anniversary? It says on the
This is Halloween.
Halloween. And what was the? So there was blend 3. So blend. Oh, I think blend
Blend
1 and 2 were from that first drop. They did them like together.
No,
No,
no, no, no, no. They didn't.
they
Those were
didn't.
two
The
separate
spread.
drops.
Okay.
Vol- I don't even remember what volume one was. Volume 2, I remember having at Christmas 2023. So, and I think
Okay.
it was released just shortly before that.
Okay. So then they might have done anniversary, Halloween, and then gone back to another Halloween drop for the volume 3,
Possibly.
batch 3 of that, which makes sense because they would have had to probably get enough stock to sort of stock meaning different barrels to choose from to do the blends and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that's fun, man. That's super fun. But yeah, their barrel program is killing it. They've been dropping a lot of really fun beers. There's I feel like I haven't drank enough of them just because of the sheer volume of stouts that I got going through the system right now.
Yep.
But the bestowed, I must have had it, but I'm very happy to hear from your side, because if you're having it every year, you probably drank them a little fresher than I have. And if you're
Yeah,
saying that they're a little more,
and I just had the gingerbread bestowed from the Christmas drops, and and that one was great.
killer, knew it. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, and while we're talking about stouts, Sumptuous. That's a new,
The new series, the Easter
yes,
egg. They
and
had the cream
and
egg. No,
no, the eggnog one.
eggnog. It was egg something because it was Christmas.
Yeah.
So
So
that was a
yeah,
six.
so for those who don't know, Sumptuous is a new series of stouts that they dropped just with this. They've done a second one now, but the first one was the eggnog one. The idea is a pastry stout, but really dialed down ABV. I think it was like 6.5 or something.
6.5. Yep. I quite enjoyed that one, man. I like
Yeah,
lower
so did I.
ABV stouts, and I feel like one of the other beers from them that was one of the most underrated was something like From Underneath or something. It was like a porter. And they have, I feel like their other dark beers that aren't super crazy were super like were very approachable, and they had
Yeah.
that was like a bigger one, I guess, but they'd also had other like straight up and down porters and things like
Yep.
that. So it's cool
Oh,
that they went. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. That just reminded me, like talking about dark beers. They did a double black IPA. The name is escaping me right now.
Oh, I got it for you. I remember. And then there was a
Yes.
barrel aged version of it.
And I remember me and Southern Ontario beer boys in particular were just absolutely gushing over it, because it was the first time first time it had been out in a couple of years, and it was right up there in line
Born to
with
Die.
Yeah, that's the one, Born to Die,
It was
right up
10.5.
there with Apocalypse Later from Great Lakes. Like that double black IPA is perfection.
I probably should have got that one. It was because it was 10.5. I was like, ah.
Yeah,
but
but just treat it
like
like
a stout.
like an imperial stout.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
you're right. As soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, I probably should have just got it for that. I bet Duran
Yep.
still has it, to be honest, because I feel like those beers don't move fast, and they usually get a decent amount of them, so they're probably still kicking around in the fridge there, which is great.
If they do, and you get one for yourself, and if they've got two, grab me one.
Okay,
I would
yeah?
have another one of that, no problem.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, add it to the list. I'll grab it when I go tomorrow or Sunday. But yeah, man, Third Moon, like, if you know Ontario beer, you know the Third Moon is fucking some of the best. So like these, you know, Salt of the Earth. The tap room is sick. The merch is fire. They're everything they're doing is just like on point. I love that also that they kind of like the Ontario Masorum as far as they're investing in going to Latvia and Poland and fucking England and Denmark and all these different places for these beer festivals, and they keep getting invited, and you don't get invited to these things if you're not A1 world-class elite status.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they are. And on top of that, they're just some of the best blokes in beer, for real. Like Chris, like they're just so loved. Like even Chris, I think I might have said it on here, but like Tiffany's mum broke her ankle in May, and I don't even remember what happened. I think we saw Chris at Brewed and Bottled in June in New York, in Lewiston, and Tiff told him we're hanging out with him, Bebo and Mark, and he basically came to our house a couple of weeks later and dropped off this like ice bucket thing. It's like an ice bucket you plug into the wall, and then you put this little wrap, and you can move it around. It can go on a shoulder, it can go on an arm, and go on a leg, whatever. And he dropped that off, so then we can give that to Tiffany's mom to help her with the
that's so
the
nice.
icing of her thing. I'm like,
just such a kind dude. My God.
I'm just like that. Salt of the earth, bro. I have so much love and respect for those guys, and they've been so cool. Like, you know, because of Noah, shouts to Noah from Beerism in Montreal. Like, he put me in touch with Bebo back when Bebo was a home brewer, and he did a beer. You mentioned Great Lakes. He did a beer with Great Lakes, and it was one of their first haze, which wasn't very hazy, but he did that, and then I was like able to get some of their early home brews in I guess it was either late 2019 or I think it was early 2020 before they opened, like homebrew versions, which were some of the beers they ended up opening with, which were exceptional. So, you know, being there before they opened and just following it, I'm like, I don't know, man, really proud of them. They deserve all the success. Champions.
Yep.
Love it. All right. All right, where are we at here? Oof.
So now it's time. So now it's time for another special mention top pod interlude, and
Okay.
so this special mention you can definitely speak to.
I can handle this one. Yes, I can handle the rest. Was just because I didn't know what you had in mind. Because unconventional approach was a cool concept, so I wanted to let you sort of say that. All right. So the next special mention is the best new brewery, which is something that we've mentioned a few times tonight, as far as other ones that happened other years. This brewery, I think, very much deserves it. We heard about these guys through Ryan from All My Friends, and they did not disappoint. They absolutely didn't. I think they kind of like shocked us how good they were, and they're maybe a year in, and that is Dune Hopper.
Yeah,
who are phenomenal. I'm waiting for it to go. I never know how long that delay is going to be. We're good. So we had Dune Hopper on the pod towards the end of last year. Colin and Steph.
and for those who don't speak Aussie, that's Dune Hopper with a D. Just so you know.
Hey, we say it DYU. It's YouTube. Yeah, so like Dune Hopper. Fuck, let me say it like you fucking. Dude, they're also in Prince Edward County, as we mentioned. They're not too far from Sandbanks. They're like 10 minutes from Sandbanks, the amazing, beautiful sand beach. And man, what incredible beers! Like I couldn't believe how good their stuff was after a year.
Oh man, it's so good.
I felt like because Ryan was the one who told me about him, or did he tell you about him? Yep. Because he's the one. I was like, okay, well, it's Ryan, and if he's telling me that, I believe him that it's going to be fire. I almost feel like annoyed that other people didn't tell me about them though. Like, Ryan's cosign was enough to be like, if he's the All My Friends guy, I'm like, well, you guys are fucking A1. So I'm like, if you're saying that these guys are phenomenal, I'm like, well, cool, man, I trust you. But they really were, man, and they were so lovely and such a cool partnership. The beers, Colin's beers from the tent pitcher lager to the there was we had one of the solo series with the single hop IPAs and one of their other flagship IPAs, and I couldn't believe how good their haze was. I couldn't believe
it's
how
great.
And their fruited sours were killer. We had a great lineup on the pod.
Like, and their hard seltzer too. Like speaking of the of the Willibald ones, like this is pretty like this is pretty up there.
It really was. Sorry, my camera's gone and died. But yeah, man, they were very impressive. Great humans. The artwork is also phenomenal, and I connected with Michael, who's their artist on Facebook. Who have
nice.
He hit me up, and he was such a lovely dude. He does Dune Hopper, and he does someone else. He does two different breweries artwork. It's escaping me now. Fuck. Sorry, Mike, if I forget who it is, but his work is amazing as well. So they look really cool. And then Steph was saying that she's able to apply those cool graphics to their merch as well. So it makes their merch more interesting. It's just a fantastic thing they got going on. And, they're dog friendly, which is something that's important to me. They're family friendly, which is something that's important to you. Yep. They got like fire pits. They just seem very hospitable. And it's like, hey, come and hang out. And they got, the beers are approachable, which is one of those things, again, approachable beers that are also very much appealing to people like us who are a little too nerdy about this shit. Yeah. And I think that is fantastic. So I'm very much, man, I feel like I can't just swing by Prince Edward County now because there's too many places to go.
Oh my God. No, you're going to have to make a weekend of it at least, or like make a long weekend of it at least.
I was kind of thinking that as well, because I didn't get to go in 2024. So I was really hoping I didn't go to Montreal or Prince Edward County in 2024. And I think we need to go this year.
Yep. And I know we got to keep this thing moving along, but I'll just say one more thing too, is that like Good Lot, Dune Hopper is another one that when we posted the pod, to see the response that came out and like the people that were just absolutely jazzed on them, but like it was insane how much engagement that got just from like all of their fans coming out of the woodwork. It was so cool to see how many people just absolutely love them.
Yes, I'm very glad you brought that, because exactly the same as Good Lot. Like those two, same as when I shared it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. It's just people went nuts, and it
was blowing up. Like probably more than any other pod post we've had this year. Like I was noticing how much that one was blowing up.
Yes, I love it so much, and I love that that's a testament to the local side, right? Like
Yes.
they're doing their local audience proud to the point where they want to comment on LinkedIn about their favorite local brewery. Even it's just like wonderful.
That's
I
nuts.
really think that's so cool, and I think it speaks volumes to them as humans and to also what they're doing. So, very much deserved as far as best new brewery. And as we've seen, a lot of people who've been getting this best new brewery are now making it to the top 10. So I want to see him in the top 10 in 2025.
Yeah.
Loving to see it.
All right.
Beauty.
So next up
You're
for
up.
top pods of
Yes.
2024.
Let's go.
Apparently, we had a good run in the 160s this year because this is
The third one. Damn.
Yeah, episode 165, where the Saz grows, with none other than the legend Bim LaFontaine from Godspeed.
I can't say enough about this, man.
My God, so the brewery of the year of
In 2023,
of 2023, and like well deserved. Like no one could argue.
Oh no, I want to shout out that pod specifically because he was in Tokyo, Japan, where he's living part time, but basically between Toronto and Tokyo. He was up at 9 a.m. to be on the pod. He drank 6 beers with us at 9 a.m. like a fucking G.
He sure did.
He is such a champion, bro. Like I have so much respect for that dude. He's just like, man.
Like the fact that he took that time for us at like with that kind of time difference, and to not kind of go halfway with it either. Like he went hard with us as if he was also doing it at 11 at night.
Basically, exactly right. He went and he wasn't scared, and he was even drinking some because one of the beers I think he didn't have, and he drank a Pilsner Urquell, fresh Pilsner Urquell out there, and yeah, man, just the insight that he has into beer and the way that he's crafted that business, and then he's out there in Japan, kind of furthering the brand and keeps coming back, which is not a small flight, not an insignificant flight. It's pretty much the same as flying to Australia, from what I understand. Very taxing on your body and very lots of jet lag, and it's a lot.
It is a lot. And like just kind of the knowledge that he has and the relationships that he has, the stories about working with the breweries in the Czech Republic that he has, like those are the kinds of things that like you don't hear those stories anywhere else. Like you would only hear those stories coming from the mouth of Bim. And
facts.
It is
no one else has done it.
It is insane that we are so lucky to have Godspeed Brewery, like a brewery of that caliber and a brewer of that caliber in Toronto.
Oh, it's no question. It truly is. And the fact they've got two, like I went there in October with our friend Maddie from Vox and Hops, who was just on the Quebec. Him and I started the Quebec top 10 together, and a good friend of the show. And he's in a band, so he was in town, and we went to Godspeed. So Bim wasn't there, but I hadn't seen him in person, like the pitch line barrels. I had 2 of them, and it was just so cool to see those things. Like they have 2 pitch line barrels, meaning it's this pitch is this fucking, he explained it to us. It's this like basic like resin type of stuff that they layer over the barrel that takes, it's a big deal to re-pitch it. And they're made by the Coopers at Pilsner Urquell in Czech Republic, in Pilsen, which is insane. Nobody else has that shit. No, who else could make that happen? He has a collab, 2 collabs or different versions with a Czech file.
Yeah.
Like, or Budvar, sorry. No. Same thing, whatever.
Yes.
Budvar is a real name. They call it Czech fire over here on the thing. Sorry.
That's right.
Yes. I'm like, that's legendary stuff, dude. Like he is just like, he is a testament to Canadian craft beer, being he's from Quebec, but has a brewery in Ontario. So you got to give props to Canadian beer overall, I guess. But yeah, man, what a champion. What a just exceptional contribution to the scene.
Oh, unreal. And that's an almost 4-hour pod as well.
Yeah, that was a banger as well.
That is one that to listen to, you can just lose yourself in to just hear him talk.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It really is.
Yep.
He's such a gem. So definitely highly recommend that pod. Great.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're only, I think are we seriously only, oh, we got 4 to go. Okay.
4 to go.
Yeah. We're rambling because this is the funnest episode of the year. So we hope you guys are drinking with us.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Now, next one. This is up back to me, Nathaniel.
This is back to you.
Now, this is a brewery that is near and dear to both our hearts.
Yes, indeed.
This brewery are they I guess this will give it away, but they call themselves an IPA factory that sometimes makes other beers.
Yes.
And if you don't know, it is Badlands Brewing.
Badlands.
I pressed it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Brewery of the year 2022 for us.
2022 Brewery of the Year. And look, fuck, man. If you want to talk IPAs, you're going to be... Oh, shit. I suppose to... if you
That's
let
okay.
it go.
Second round of applause for that.
I'm going to finish that off.
Hey, 3. There we go.
That's worth it. So Troy's the man. Troy is such a legend, such a gem of a human to have in the Ontario craft beer scene. Become a good friend. I really appreciate him a lot. He is super switched on, super smart. So my boys from Batch, I was talking about him earlier. So Dave, Eric, and Shane, they came down. We're hanging out. They did a collab with Badlands, and bro, they'd had a few beers in them by the time that I was driving. So I was, we went to Bellwoods, we went to Blood Brothers. And like they would, one of the dudes is actually from London, Ontario, but he lives in Detroit now because I think he married an American. He's one of the brewers there, and he knew Badlands. He used to go to Badlands and line up for their beers back in the day, so he knew him. So for him, this was the big full circle thing for him. Yeah. He had fucking basically tears in his eyes when he was like, I can't believe I'm doing a collab with Badlands. I can't fucking believe it. Like he was losing his shit. And I was like, this is. I know you've had a few bevers and you probably wouldn't do this if you didn't, but I was like, that's beautiful, man. Like how much this brewery means to people. And it's literally a space at the back of his house on his parents-in-law's land. And he had a tiny little brewery they ended up selling to the Michael at Gather. And now he upgraded to this other brewery. And they were telling me, they were like, man, the way he just was like, boom, boom, moving around the brewery was incredible, was so inspiring. Like they were gassed, bro. Like I met them the evening after they did the collab that day.
Yeah.
So like just hearing them the way they were like in awe talking about Troy, and I was like, and that's exactly what I would expect to hear. He's just, one of the most talented brewers. And the funniest part is he's never worked anywhere else. Like he's never worked at another brewery. Like this is just his shit, and he's just fucking cracked the code on how to make the best haze of the best haze.
Yeah, it was a thing that for me, and this was back when you were still living in Montreal.
Yes.
Like when I got my first taste of them, it was from a 4-pack that just happened to be in the Dominion City store. That was that was when I really got my first taste of them, and it was a thing of like, whoa, okay, this is next level. Like I've had I obviously had a bunch of haze here and there, but I'm like, okay, this is on another level. This is kind of like this is the target.
When was this for you?
This would have been sometime in 2020.
Okay, so you're ahead of the game for me. So maybe you told me this then.
I would have, and I think I shipped a bunch of them to you at the time.
Oh, okay. So in my head, and I maybe you did, and once again, I've got a bit of a memory lapse a lot of the time, but my brother and I split an order in 2021.
Okay,
did that sound familiar? But you could have still sent me stuff.
That does sound familiar. I mean, like the first time I sent stuff to you may have been in 2021, or it may have been in 2020. I don't exactly remember that.
So you still might have done that though. And,
I'm sure I did. I just don't know if it was before when you did it with your brother.
Before. Well, the time that I did it, I feel like it was funny because I'd heard so much about them, probably from you and from a lot of other folks. And the time that we ordered, I was like, oh, this is fine. And I was like, oh, okay, people may be gassing it up. It was cool. And then I went to Brewski because we did the Link Up collab. And Derek was like, oh, try this beer. We did a collab with Badlands. It's shit. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, we're in this slump. He's like, yeah, Troy had just gone through that. So he's helping us through it. And I was like, oh, so like all of the best breweries. So if people don't know, the best of the best, sometimes shit happens. This is small batch manufacturing. Like this is not McDonald's level, like everything's perfect all the time, right? And that's the beauty of it. So I tried Badlands arguably for the first time, if it wasn't that you gave me stuff before or after, I don't recall, but it wasn't at their best. It wasn't their best showing. Then I was like, oh, okay. And when I decided to move to Hamilton, I went to Durand, and that's when I got a bunch from them. Like, oh, this is the best of the. This is the best of the best. This is just fucking insane, and it's been insane ever since.
Yeah.
And to this one right here, I'm doing the Dora 76. So Dora is their exploratory IPA, Dora the Explorer, and it always is hopped with Citra, and they always have like a different little like flip on it. They have this one here for this version. We decided to double down on the mash hopping process. We explored number 75. We doubled the quantities of hops in the mash to see if it'd be twice as impactful. So look at that. Look at that milk,
Yeah,
mate.
that's fucking gorgeous.
Oh, the head, the nose.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Troy's become a really good friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
And just I think he's like a real valuable person in the scene. He's just like
he absolutely is like one of the most knowledgeable people in the scene, and like very insightful. And if you need any proof of that, go listen to the episode like 160, the cost of brewing craft beer, that we already chatted about. That's an excellent example of just the wealth of knowledge that he is.
I think that's a great call. And if you want to hear a bit more about Badlands, we have 2 episodes. One is our most viewed podcast on YouTube, which is called Get Off My Lawn. I think it was episode 93 of our Adjunct series.
Mm-hmm.
And we did another version. We did another one last year. I don't remember the name.
That was Mauvaise Terre, I think.
Oh, of course.
I think it was after his other spin-off.
After the other thing. So we tried some different. Oh man, fuck! I got lit on that pod. Jesus.
Oh
Christ.
my god! Yeah, that's because that's because he capped the night off with like with the Trinilla, the triple vanilla barrel aged stout. Holy fuck! That like
I think I drank all of it.
He was trying to kill us. He was trying to kill us. Just like Bebo and Chris were.
They were trying to murder us, and I think I drank
was
all of it.
So hungover the next day. Oh. My god.
Just thinking about it now, like I had a bit of trouble for maybe like 3 or 4 months drinking vanilla stouts after that, because I would just it wasn't that stout's fault because it was perfect, but it was just because of all the other beers. But yeah, man, their IPAs are a world class, best of the best. Put them up against any of the best in the world, anytime, all the time.
Like I would say, like the thing that sticks out with me for Badlands is that during the pandemic, when I was like really kind of missing the days of like regularly traveling over to Vermont and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Badlands is one of those ones that made me think like, oh, you know what? We have the world-class shit right here.
Right on our backyard, brother. We really do.
We had it right here.
That's what COVID taught me as well, was when nobody could travel pre-COVID, both you and I traveled probably a lot, right?
Yeah.
Came back 2020, fucking no one's going nowhere. The best we could do is I was going to Toronto here and there and getting stuff, or I would order things with my brother and then he would ship. So him and I were shipping a lot. And you and I probably were shipping a lot too, I imagine, back then. So between just us, we were keeping ourselves all with some fun stuff. So the funnest shit you could get, at the very, like the funnest I could trade with my friend in Vancouver or something like that. And over time, it just found that like, oh, like we've got the best of the best in our backyard. Like this is crazy. Like what happened? And I guess it was just like they were already amazing, and it was they probably had a bit more time to tweak their shit and make it even better. And then to be honest, and I don't know if I said this on the pod, but it would have been, I moved to Hamilton in 2022. So 2023, we, around this time, I think it was February 2023, we first went to Buffalo and Rochester. And I felt like I was just disappointed almost with everything. I was like, every IPA I had, I was like, Badlands better. And that was not good for me because it made the experience kind of negative, because I'm just like, oh, I could get better shit that direct from Troy, or I go to Durand and I get the fucking stuff that's better than any of the stuff I'm paying 30% more and traveling to try. So I really feel like that this is a currency. Like don't front on Canadian beer and don't front on Canadian haze, because this, once again, I'll put this up against any of the best haze in America, in Europe, and anywhere.
And you're not the only one to say so. Like remember straight from Bebo's mouth that Troy is making some of the best IPAs in the world.
He said that. Was that on the last pod or was that in the first one?
No, that was on the Chinwag when we were doing that.
I remember now. Yep, when we had him on, and he's right. And obviously, there's a lot of people who are doing exceptional stuff, but just like BIM focuses on a general. I wouldn't say he focuses on one style, but he is a lager factory that sometimes makes other beers. Badlands is a IPA factory that sometimes makes, and it says it on the t-shirt. And it's special, eh? It's just so good every time I have it. Dora, this is number 76. I haven't had 76 of these, but they drop one a month, and it's so cool to see that it's got the same hop every time. They just change something different, and it's always fire. It's always fire. Yeah. You always want to get it. If it's just something small that they're changing, but you still want to get it, that says a lot about the brewery that's making this beer. Like, yeah. It doesn't matter.
There's there's that much nuance to be tasted in just a small tweak.
And once again, this was just like a double mash hopping process. That's all it is. That's the only difference between this and the last one. But like, what a fun way to explore techniques and things like that, and still make an interesting, unique beer every time. That's like, slightly different. Yeah. Obviously, probably a lot of us, because they drop once a month, you probably haven't had back-to-back doors. I definitely haven't. I'd be drinking them way sooner than that. But yeah, man, it's just, I can't say enough. And then on top of that, the thing that they don't get enough credit for, their lagers. Troy's lagers are fantastic. CS Pills. They do a bunch of, which is often around. They have like a Hellas. They got a bunch of stuff, but also the barrel program.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I mean, they just did the drop. I haven't had, once again, I got a lot of stouts, but I haven't had everything. I'm working my way. They did the drop. They did the select, because they have their select event before their anniversary in August. They had the select event. I think it was June.
Yep.
And they dropped the 6 different selects, because they do the hop selection. And they have that. And they also dropped a couple of select barrel-aged stouts. And then they did a sick one for the anniversary, where they had a similar thing to what Counterpart does, where they had a 3-barrel blend, and then that stout, and then they had a separate stout, one for each of the barrels, which is just super fun. And his barrels are really fucking good, like really good.
Yeah,
it's impeccable stuff, man. It's
then with all of the inky drops that come out too.
I totally forgot about that. That inky glass is one of my favorite. I use that all the time.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah.
I use it for stouts because I like, if I go and pour it into like the stout glass or something, it's just this, 500 mil of just like sitting there. But how many ounces do you think it is? Like 6 ounces, maybe, that glass, the inky?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And you pour it and you drink that slowly. And then by the time you've drank that, the beer's warmed up, but it's still in the bottle. So then you pour it again and you get a nice fresh head on it. And I drink every stout out of that glass now. Every single time I have a big barrel-aged stout, I drink it out of that inky glass. I love it so much. I don't know why. Something about that way of drinking it in portions is appealing for when it's 11+%, 11.9, whatever. But yeah, man, Badlands, well deserved. There's no chance. Have they been on every? They must have been on every one.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they were Brewery of the Year when we first did this.
Yep, Brewery of the Year. Then last year, of course, are on here. So once again, another brewery that I don't foresee.
Not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. So, alrighty. Oh, Nathaniel's up.
Yep, Nathaniel's up.
Oh, I have one for this one too. Actually, this is the only. There's 2 beers that we have. The Brewery of the Year we both have, and this is the only other one that we have.
Yes,
that we're both drinking.
And here we're coming to my hometown. This is an Ottawa brewery, another one that has been on every year since we started doing this, and certainly no one could argue. And it is Tooth and Nail.
Oh my gosh, I got the same one. Hey, look at that! Great choice, eh?
Yes.
Fuck, Maddie is a genius.
Oh my God, yes. So
where do we even start? Nate,
Yeah,
where do we start?
where to even start? Just like, well, I mean, where we can start is the obvious place. I feel like where everyone would expect us to start. Vim and Vigor,
Vim and Vigor.
like has been one of the best pilsners in Ontario, year on year on year.
Would you say the best pilsners in Canada, perhaps?
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to make a case against that.
Yeah. It's and we both chose a brown ale, which I think
We
is
did.
which is hilarious because brown ales aren't the most oh, we chose the same glass. We didn't coordinate this, I promise.
We did not.
That's hilarious because obviously the mini Nonic pint, thanks to Dan at Zenon, who is a fucking legend. And also the way that these things, where does these beers come up to on the glass?
Yeah, yeah, it comes right up to right up to the Nonic bulge.
I just wanted to let you say it.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw what you were doing there.
So I set you up. I set you up for success.
You did.
But yeah, Matt Tweedy. When I saw him at the Blood Brothers party at the OCB, and I hugged that motherfucker, and it was so wonderful. He is, once again, we're talking about salt of the earth. Aren't we just gassing up all the people behind all of these breweries, man?
We sure are.
And Matty is just, I met Matt in 2017 at the CBAs in Ottawa. I was sick as a dog. I'd already set up a podcast with him, and Scott hadn't rocked up, so he was coming the next day. I went by myself got our Airbnb. I went in, and I went to the party, and I met I was there with Sam from Sawdust, and then this dude comes up, started talking to Sam, and then he's introduced me to him. He's like, "Oh, Matt from Tooth and Nail." I'm like, "I'm interviewing you tomorrow. What the fuck? What up?" And he was a champion, and we went to the brewery, and it was funny because at the time we probably were at odds because I wanted haze and he was doing not haze. He hated haze. I had no appreciation, to be honest. Not enough of appreciation. I liked all of his stuff, but I didn't appreciate it. That he was doing, and followed closely ever since, and I think over time I just was once I started to appreciate lagers a lot more and understand how much of a powerhouse Vim and Vigor is, and everything else that he's doing, from the stouts and the other things like this, brown ales and fucking all sorts of different styles that he's popping out. Exactly, the Farmhouse Valor. Like, even for I kept this because this is the coolest shit. You got me this.
Yes,
Vim and Valor, the Magnum.
You finally had it, and how fucking good was that?
It was perfection. Tiff wasn't even going to have any. I was like, "Oh, look, it's a Magnum. Can you help me out?" And she was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll have a glass." And then I poured her a glass. She's like, "Oh," and then it was so big, couldn't put it in the fridge without a stopper. I didn't have a stopper that would fit it, so I put it outside because it was cold. And then I filling up my glass. She was like, "Oh, give me some more of that." And I was like, "Yeah, beautiful." So she helped me out enough to get through. It was just such a fantastic.
And Tiff isn't even really drinking beer these days, so that's it. So that says something.
Exactly. She's drinking Crispies, or she's drinking Farmhouse is really like what she's into. So like she likes Barrel Heart, she likes Tooth and Nail, she likes Godspeed, and yeah, man, it's just I just feel like what Matty's doing is so special. He's so exquisite with his stuff. He's the salt of the earth again, and I feel like people just love him and his approach to beer, and he's so serious about it. You could speak more to the brew pub experience. I've only been there the one time properly to actually to interview him. I popped in to get beers, but I'd never actually sat in the pub and had a beer before.
Yeah. Before I get onto the brew pub experience, just to come back to what you to what you were saying before, just in terms of the approach, it's the same kind of thing as as we were talking about with True History, just with really his commitment to doing things in in a very deliberate, traditional fashion, and his education in beer really that is the way he learned. That's the way he learned beer, and he sticks to that very, very deliberately, and is so particular about what he puts in his beer and kind of what he wants to come out of it, and that shows with every single beer that you taste from him.
Couldn't agree more.
It's the exact same kind of thing. True History are a bit newer to the game, but Matty has been on the scene a bit longer, and that's the reputation that Tooth and Nail has built over the years.
Couldn't agree more. It's just like an exquisitely produced lineup of beers that the most puritanical beer nerd would admire and appreciate
Absolutely.
his approach, particularly Vim and Vigor. And I think that's how it got put on the map in the beginning because it was so good. And every
Yeah.
time I always keep it on deck. Every time you are sending me beer and you go on a tooth and nail, it's basically just fucking don't ask me, just get me.
Exactly.
Get me Vim and Vigor.
And
it's
we had Matt on the pod again this year. I think it was his third. It was his third time on.
It was.
He told the story again of kind of how that beer became big in Ontario, and that's worth a listen. To come back around now to what you were saying before about the brew pub experience. So it's not a very big space. It's pretty cozy, but it's very, very comfy. It's the kind of thing that and it actually has improved over the years too. So like they make a space that would otherwise be kind of dark, but is very welcoming and comfortable. Like they've got they've got string lights kind of hanging through it from front to back. The bar is in the first half of it, and then once you get past the bar, you can see the brew house at the end of it, and then there's some long picnic tables, kind of communal seating, where there's board games and and stuff for kids as well. So it's again one of those other places that is comfortable, comfortable for everyone. Comfortable if you've got young kids there, comfortable if you're just some friends hanging out after work, whatever the case is, it is a comfortable place to be. It's great to just hang at the bar. They've upped their food program in the last couple of years. It used to be the kind of thing that it was just kind of like bar snacks, just kind of like chips or pretzels or whatnot. But now they regularly have a few different kind of pizzas that you can get there, sandwiches, and a whole bunch of other things. And they very regularly, when it's a special event, be it for their anniversary, be it for Oktoberfest or St. Patrick's Day, whatever it is, they've always got some kind of special food operation going. For any event, which is really cool. It was good that they upped their food game. That was something that was kind of lacking for a little while, but it has really come quite a long way. And there is, and I can't talk about the brew pub experience without talking about Fortitude on Nitro.
I was going to ask about this. I need this experience. Please.
Oh, that again, I think we were talking earlier about just kind of like a no adjunct stout, and and Fortitude on that front is perfection.
True.
And that's again just something that you get the notes of chocolate, coffee, the really, really smooth oat base on it is it's just delectable. And then if you take an already perfect beer like that and put it on Nitro, it's completely.
I love it. Every time you go, I was like, get me Fortitude. And it's, I love having that because I love a low ABV stout. It's kind of perfect. It's got just enough flavor. Was it 5%, right? Like
something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. It's like just the right amount of flavor. And I can only imagine the one thing that could level up this perfect low ABV stout is the nitro body.
Yeah.
And it's that's one of my things. I gotta get back. Fuck, man, I need to get back out of that way.
There is just even on top of that too, there is just something about having Maddie's beers fresh on tap. No matter what beer it is, having them fresh on tap is it's just an elevated experience.
Yeah.
I was there, I was there to meet with him, back in late November, where it was within a day or two of the release of 2024 Hop Hugs, and having that on tap. Oh my god! Fuck off! It was it was so goddamn good.
Let's explain hop hugs.
I had 2 pints of it. It was just like, I don't want anything else. Like give me another one right now.
It's so for people who don't know, and Nate, this is all props to you because you put me onto this. Sierra Nevada does a beer called Celebration every year, and Nate hadn't had it yet. And Nate is big on fresh hops. I got something else to tell you about fresh hops. Actually, I forgot to tell you from a pod I did last night that I got to talk to you about. Remind me afterwards, and just to get you fucking rock solid. And the beer is sort of had eluded you for some time for Celebration, and I happened to be in Buffalo, and one of the stores that I frequent happened to have it, and I was like, oh, Nate is going to ejaculate on side of this. So grab that. And I made sure we got, we split the 6-pack of that, boom. And then when I saw Maddie at OCB, so when was that? Probably like October.
Must have been.
Yeah. Must have been. Because I saw Matt early November, and I told him I just got Celebration because I knew he does Hop Hug. He's like, okay, Hop Hug's coming out in a couple of weeks. Keep the Celebration, keep it cold because it drops quicker than haze. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting, fresh up. And he's like, put it side by side so you can see. I'm like, okay. Because you went and you got Hop Hugs, then you sent some out. So then we both got to do a nice side by side, which was one of my beer highlights of the year. Was drinking. Oh my god,
yeah!
How fun was that? It was so. I've still got 2 more. I got another one of each that I've still got to do, and I'm probably gonna do it this weekend.
Oh, you still got them left, man. You need to drink those.
I know. It's bad. I'm gonna do it this weekend. But I got one of each. I think I got 2 Celebration and one Hop Hug. So I'm gonna do another side by side. But yeah, it was just so fun to try it and to see. Matt was like, "Look, Hop Hugs are gonna taste better because by the time it gets done, Celebration's gonna be dropped a little bit." But you'll see the different. I was like, it was very interesting to see that, it's slightly different in carbonation, slightly different in body, different bitterness, different maltiness. But it was so cool to try those 2 side by side. It was like, I was kind of like
subtle, very subtle differences, but like in the end, my takeaway is that like Hop Hugs is such an on point tribute.
Yes, that was
of Celebration.
That's what you said. Because you did it before me, and I was like, how was it? And you're like, and that's exactly what you said to me.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. And then I was drinking it. I was like, exactly. There were some elements that I preferred Hop Hugs for, and there were some elements I preferred Celebration for.
Yeah,
but there was also they're not released at the same time. So there's also a bit of unfairness as far as that direct comparison. But it was so cool just to see that difference. But doing that, to be honest, felt like I was like excited because you were excited about it. So it was like,
amped.
Yeah, because you were amped, and I didn't really understand the level. I'd had Hop Hugs before because you'd sent it to me, but I didn't. I've been now trying Celebration and then seeing all the talk about it, like online, like on Reddit and stuff, on the beer subreddits and stuff. I was like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yep.
And yeah, I definitely get it. But yeah, man, Tooth and Nail are just, I think, such a blessing to the Ontario craft beer scene. Everything that they're doing is impeccable, and I think needs to be recognized. So
it's another one that we're just insanely lucky to have here.
Very much so, and I think that's a bit of a repetitive thing that we're pushing out tonight, is that we are very fortunate to have a lot of these breweries here, and definitely
especially as we get higher up on the list.
Exactly right. We've only got 2 more to go. So what I was thinking, do you want to take I know you're changing the camera battery. Do you know what? Maybe we do the next special mention and top pods, and then we can take a quick bathroom break and then finish up with these last 2.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So Tooth and Nail, impeccable. Anything else to say about that, or we feel like we're...
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Tooth and Nail, amazing. Maddie, you're a fucking legend. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I do the special mention, or would you like to do that?
I'm still getting my camera plugged in, so why don't you do it?
Okay, perfect. And it's actually a good reason to do it. So this one, they came up with all these fantastic awards. I love this. This is the Glassware Award. And that is to a company that we connected with this year. We did have them on the pod. We talked about them earlier. Both of us drink out of their beers, basically out of their beers, drink out of their glassware we've had a few brews here. This is number 5, Nate. Every beer session. And that is Gather, Glassware, and Brewery.
Yes, indeed.
And this is one of their beautiful pieces. Handmade glassware. So, yeah, man, we connected with Mike from Gather sometime earlier in the year, I think. And he sent us both a bunch of glasses, and we've been using them ever since. They got some of the best pint glasses I've ever seen. When I say pint glasses, I'm meaning like the big handled, for a full
Yeah,
pint
like
of
the
Christmas
Steins.
Stein, and you can pour. I love it because you can get a full pint, a full tall boy of any crispy, and pour it upside down, and to get that foam, and there's enough space for it.
Yeah.
It's exceptional. I use this every time at the IPA glass. It's perfect. Um, yeah, and they also have, what else do they have? They have so we got this one. We have the one that's kind of like a vase almost,
Yeah.
which is also for IPAs. I often use that for smoothies. I quite like it for that. But Mike used that for IPAs. We got this one,
I
and there's a Pilsner glass.
I quite like the Czech Pils one, like the one that's like round like a bowl.
Yes. So there was two. There's a Czech Pils one that's a bit rounder, and there's one that's kind of like a, I don't know, cylindrical, conical.
It starts wide and then like gets pretty narrow at the top.
It's like a cone with a snipped off the top, but the girthiest handles in the business. And yeah, man. And not only, I want to shout out their beers. We tried some of their beers on the pod where they had some contracted beers, but they got Badlands' old system, and they did their first beer on it recently. Mike was super happy with it, and I saw today or yesterday they were mashing in for another beer. So I'm really happy for them that they're starting their beer program. They turned the glassware, like glass blowing factory, into a beer bar, and then now into a brewery sort of. So that's why we had Gather and Lovebird on the same pod, because Lovebird were essentially like the beer store and a contract brewery and selling their stuff through them, whereas Gather were a glass blowing factory that was turned into a beer store, and then were making their own beer in their space and then selling it through there. So it was kind of like they did it the opposite way. And yeah, man, these glasses are just so cool. They look great. They feel great to drink from. They're very like they're not thin. So
oh my god, no!
I feel like I could drop it from 6 feet and it probably wouldn't smash.
Yeah, it's not like and no shade on Spiegelau, because I still love Spiegelau glasses. Like they're still gorgeous. But it is one of those things that, like, you feel like if you look at it too hard, it's going to crack, and you've always got to be very delicate with it when you wash it. But like, you feel like you couldn't break these Gather glasses if you tried.
Exactly, and it's a bit of, there's something to that as well. It's not like it's super thick, but it's thicker than the Spiegel ones, and it's just really cool. And to know that there was someone who used those big fucking hot metal rods to make this shit with their hands, and there's imperfections, there's tool marks that he was explaining during the pod, and I can actually see them now, like in the top. You won't be able to see it on camera, but
and the crack, and kind of the crackle design, which is sort of their signature.
Yeah, and little bubbles in there and stuff that like it's very, very cool. And they Mike is a massive haze proponent. We're also hanging with him at the OCB at Merit. I didn't get to hang with him as long as I would have liked, but because you keep getting pulled in different directions, Pause, and it was cool to hang out with him and to meet him in person, and to continue to support them. So I'm excited to have them back on this year to talk about Gather stuff, and I want them to have a few of their beers on tap before we can, or at least package, so that we can have them on to showcase the stuff, because I know that they're just fucking haze boys, stoked about their juice.
Absolutely. And I got out to their tap house for my birthday this year, which was great. It was really cool to see it in person. Like their tap room is awesome. Really cozy. They've got a great tap selection of of Ontario beers, and also of wines and ciders, if that's more your jam. From the tap room, they've got a big window down, to look down into the glass blowing studio. If you kind of want to check that out, and and you walk through the glassware shop, and kind of all of their and all of the blown glass ornaments and decorations and glassware and everything as you come into the tap house, which is really, really cool.
That sounds,
and they and the fridges of all of their big bottle shop as well, and they sell some of the best shit in Ontario there too.
They didn't mess around. He gets the best of the best, and I know that Ryan from All My Friends was helping him out a bunch as well, because they're in Merrickville, which isn't too far from PEC, so they were helping them sort of get their shit together, and I love it.
And they got Dune Hopper in their fridge after we had them on the pod.
Yes, and he got Willibald because I talked to him about that as well. He already
Yeah.
had Badlands and Third Moon. Like he'd hit me up and he'd be like, "What do you think of these guys?" I'm like, "You fucking need them on, get them." And
Yeah.
he listened and he does it every single
Yeah.
time. So
He asked me the same thing after we had Dune Hopper on.
oh, I love it. I love it. That's
Yeah.
great. See, like I love that because he sort of wants to get the best stuff. And if he sees them on the pod and he's like, yo, that's killer. Like it's I love that type of thing. And that's that passion for craft beer that you need in someone who's owning a beer store and slash brewery.
Yeah.
It's very cool. So huge shouts, special mention to them. And once again, once they get their beers out, love to see them in the top 10 in the next year or two.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Top pods, Nate.
Top pod. Okay, so this was episode 1 of the new Business of Beer series that launched this year, which we were really stoked for. And this one was with Jamie from Fine Balance and Caitlin from Town.
Yes.
Which was a really, really fun episode. So for the very first episode of the new series, we had Jamie and Caitlin on. Both the taproom managers from Fine Balance in Town to and the idea of that conversation, because we very often talking to brewers and and owners on the pod, and the idea for this actually came about from Jamie, because she shortly after an episode that we did with Andrew, just a Fine Balance interview, like a while back, and Jamie and I had been chatting on over Instagram a few times, and she did a beer delivery to me, an order that I had made from Fine Balance. She happened to be doing the Ottawa deliveries that day, and we had a lovely chat on my doorstep for 15 minutes, and she was telling me about the after she listened to the episode, telling me what she thought of the chat and whatnot, and she suggested to me that it would be a good idea to talk to some taproom managers as well, and other folks who work in other areas of the craft beer scene. I'm like, you know what, that's a really fucking good idea. And and her suggestion was to talk to Caitlin from Town. And as we were kind of building the idea for for the Business of Beer season or series, where it was going to be, let's bring in 2 different people from from different breweries to talk about a certain subject and whatnot. I'm like, okay, you know what? Jamie put us onto a really good idea. She mentioned Caitlin from Town. Let's have both Caitlin and Jamie on for for kind of a taproom manager episode. And and it was a wonderful idea. And it was a really, really fun chat. Both of them are really, really cool. Have different perspectives from kind of the different size of the of their breweries, and just the different neighborhoods that that they service. So it was a very insightful episode. Got a different perspective than we normally get here on the podcast, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep, totally agreed. And it was even cooler to have 2 boss women,
Yeah.
who run the show, talk about it, because I'm always sort of a little conscious, most of the people involved in beer are dudes, right? So it's kind of cool to say hey, these 2 ladies are kind of keeping that whole experience alive in those respective breweries, and obviously they were friends, they knew each other, and it was super cute, and love it. It was and Caitlin was pregnant at the time, I believe.
Yeah, she was.
Now she has given birth and she's chilling, but and I saw her at the OCB as well. She's back in action. Which is cool. She wasn't even back at work. She was just hanging out. That's how much she loves it. She didn't have to be there. She was fucking still on maternity leave. But yeah, it was really cool, man. It was really fun, and it was a cool way to kick off the Business of Beer series with, like you said, that perspective that hadn't been represented on the pod as much. We typically talk to owners and brewers, right? And that's for a reason, because we're talking about their company. And then when it comes to the business of beer, that opens everything up. That's why everything is available. We've had so many interesting conversations because of that season, and we're going to do more and more of that this year because it's of things like this. And I feel like it's a great introduction to it. And once again, that was, we talked earlier about the episode with Troy as one of the top pods of the year, and that one along with this one is all in that Business of Beer playlist on YouTube. So this was the proper kickoff for that series, and that's where everything's going to be moving forward. If anything's not about a brewery, like a sort of you know, a piece specifically about a promotion, well, promotion piece. I was going to call it like fluff piece. It's not really. We're still getting deep on some cool topics, but about a brewery and their scene and what they do and da da da. But then the business of beer is really like open ended and kind of a bit more wide reaching, which is like kind of fun. And we can have all, you know, we've had Glassware, we had Dan from Zenden and Aiden from Henderson on, which was super cool. We had Alex from Lovebird, Michael from Gather, we were just talking about. You know, we're only just kind of starting. I had a couple folks from the States on talking about the like the life of a beer sales rep. We had someone talk about the 3-tier distribution system in the States as well. So we're trying to, like, you know, diversify this a little bit and really just sort of expand the horizons and really get nerdy about industry stuff. So this was the perfect way to kick it off.
Great Absolutely. Episode. It's a great episode.
Yeah, love it. All right, let's take a quick tinkle. This is pretty good. 2 hours and 40 minutes and we haven't pissed.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking the same thing earlier.
Yeah, we're beasts. All right, we'll do it. You guys won't even notice, but we'll be back. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. All right, Nathaniel. Top two, mate. Top
two. Yeah,
top two.
These are the heavy hitters now.
Right.
So here we are. And this is going to give away that our number one spot is going to be a brand new one this year, because number 2 is last year's Brewery of the Year, the 2023 Brewery of the Year from Toronto, Ontario.
Godspeed. Yeah. If you didn't already realize that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we've already been gassing them up.
We have said
it. Already. We already mentioned the pod with BIM. And just what an absolute champion, and just kind of how thankful we are to have him and his brewery in our scene. This is again like we're repeating ourselves, but you could not have a top 10 in Ontario without mentioning Godspeed.
You really couldn't. And even since they opened, the way that they've like paved the way for Czech style beers, for lagers, for, you know, like an elevated experience in craft beer, from when they had the Japanese food to now they got that partnership with Verse. So it's like authentic German food, which, whilst I miss the Japanese stuff, the German stuff, you know, arguably is the perfect, compliment to these glorious beers. Like this is that's the one with the Diamante hops, the new version, right?
This is the one with Premiant.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah.
So this is the second version of the, I forgot the name, Chemlova, I think it is.
Yes.
CHME.
Like Chmelova Brigada.
There you go. Super Czech. Yeah, man. Just fuck, dude. I can't say enough. I know we kind of gassed him up on the pod, but just, you know, going there, and when I went with Maddie, we hung out with the head brewer Jeff, who BIM had entrusted to, you know, take the reins while he's in Japan, and such a champion. And we're hanging out with a bunch of the dudes from the team, and there was some of Matt's friends and people that were there as well, and they were, you know, trying the beers different. And one of the dudes who was one of the bartenders there, they were like, "Oh, do you want one of the blends? You know how you do like those blends?" And he has like some triple blend where there's like
kind of like the 2-level sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think he did like a 3-level, like a light, amber, and then the dark head.
I've seen Max post a picture of the of the 3-level one. It's insane.
Yes, so that was the one I had, and it was super dope. And
you had the 3-level?
Yeah, because the dude was just pouring them. He's like, "Do you want one?"
Oh my god, come on!
It took him like 5 minutes to make it, because that's how long it takes.
Yeah,
to
it
pour
would.
Stuff, and it was just like. It was very cool. Every time I've been there, it's my favorite. Like if I could go to a place in Toronto, it's always to Godspeed. Also because my brother lives 50 meters from there, so it's very convenient for parking at his place. But it's yeah, man, it's just like what can't you say about Godspeed? Like, you know,
yeah, this right here is fucking spectacular. By the way,
spectacular.
Oh my god!
And one of the other beers, by the way, speaking of that I grabbed this year, we happened to go by right after we were at a show at History, and we park at my brother's house. So we walked down to History, which is on Queen, a music venue. And then on the way back, I was like, "Oh, let's see if Godspeed's open." And they were open, so I went and grabbed a bunch of stuff. And it happened to be around the time they did their 7th anniversary. This year they did a basic barrel aged lager. So I grabbed a couple of bottles of that. and fucking hell, that is good, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we'd had some from Sankiem, had done some nice wood lager from oh my god, what's the brewery in Quebec that Noah's friends own? Lager. Oh my god, what's it called? Alex and Jason own it. Oh my god, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, this is escaping me.
Okay, no. Either way, there's not too many wood barrel aged lagers that I've had
Yeah.
at all, and it's that was one of the ones. So it'll come to me that brewery. But yeah, it's man, what can't these guys do? And that the Pitchline Sklepnik might be one of my favorite beers of all time.
Yeah.
I think it's perfection,
Yeah.
dude. Even the OG stainless Sklepnik is incredible, but the Pitchline one is just it's something special. It's something, and every time I'm in the area, I'm like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get 2 to 4 of everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do at
Oh,
Tooth
for
and
sure.
Nail as well.
And we had this discussion with like on the pod with Bim, and you were saying that like Sklepnik is the one for you. For
What's your
me,
one?
Buch is
Buch,
the
yeah.
like it is the one. The other Budvar collab, it like that one. I could drink that beer every day for the rest of my life.
It's spectacular. It really is. And there's 2 versions. There's the special edition, I think, which is the collab, and the original one, and they're both glorious.
Yes,
I think I had that on tap as well on Luca when I was there with Maddie in October, and I hadn't had it for a bit, and it was, oh my goodness.
Those beers, Sklepnik or Buch, those beers are like, it's insane that we have access to lager that good.
Isn't it crazy? And it just feels like it's such a treat to be involved in a beer scene that has products of this quality, this readily available. I think that's the other point too. It's not like it's that good, and it's like, oh, you get it when you get it. But we could go there every day if you wanted to, and it's going to be there, and there's going to be something fire. Not to mention, that's just the lagers. Not to mention, like Fuyu, the barley wine, which you mentioned, Daku, which is the barley wine Peche stout blend.
That was insane.
I've still got a couple cans left. I had a can of it like a couple weeks ago. Oh my goodness, it's still holding up beautiful.
And I forget the name of it, but the porter.
Yeah, the porter. Kim something Kimuri
or Kirori.
Godspeed.
It's something with a K.
Porter. Kimuri, Kemuri. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A smoked porter. That's the other thing, by the way. Which was what we learned on the pod with Bim, is that anything that's called Godspeed style beer is lightly smoked. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody does smoked beer like Godspeed.
Absolutely no one.
Dude, their subtle approach to smoked beer will appeal to anybody. Change your life. You can't, like, a smoked porter, but it's like so subtle. It's not campfire. It's not bacon. It's not punch you in the face. And he does that for every style. There's a Helles. There's like
the smoked Helles is insane.
Crazy. It should have. It has no business being that good.
No
business. It's insane, bro. Like, once again, we're so fortunate to be able to order it, and for me, it's like an hour drive to get to it, or I could send my brother down and be like, "Yo, get that for me. I'll come get it." It's a blessing. It's so cool. They're the type of beer, like, if I really want like a massive ass big glass door fridge, and I want to have it like I'm at Durand. I want a fridge like Durand been in my house, and I'd love to have like a line of all the 6 to 8, 10 of all the different Godspeed beers, just be able to pull from it whenever I want. Like, that is it's just such a pleasure, and they're so affordable for the quality. You can't get a beer that good made by people with this experience and this great at what they do for that price anywhere else.
No, like a short can, all of them under $4, basically. Like, come on.
It's truly a blessing, man. And there's a big reason they won last year and or in 2023, because I know we're recording this in 2025. But yeah, man, they're just a
It's
special brewery.
like it would be one of those ones that if you named them Brewery of the Year every single year, no one would argue.
And I was actually thinking, like, that's one of the things we're trying to avoid is to name the same people Brewery of the Year, hence, Badlands and Godspeed, and switching it up this year as well. Because
Exactly.
I think it's kind of fun, and different people deserve their flowers at different times. But it is very tempting to like you said, to give that award to some folks that are just dominating, and they can do no wrong. It's insane. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
So Godspeed are a blessing, and we appreciate them so very much. And the whole team, they're just doing a great job, man. Like, Max on social and all the folks there, like they're just the kitchen, obviously now with the Verse style, the food with all the sausages and pretzels and German style Bavarian stuff is just, it works really well with all of their offerings, and it's
Yeah. To everyone on the team there, we fucking appreciate you. Like you're doing you're doing
Lord's
amazing work. Amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's unmatched in this scene or any scene.
Yes. Keep doing it, and just know you're very much appreciated, and
you're loved and appreciated.
Very much so. And that goes to all of the breweries on this list, by the way.
Absolutely, it does.
And those who were special mention, and those who maybe didn't make it as well, because there's if you really want to be honest, this is so fucking hard to do this, and this is a nice little segue into the Brewery of the Year for 2024.
Well, hang on, because I know we've been doing every two, but we've still got one more special mention and one more top pod. So let's do that before we get to the Brewery of the Year.
This is why Nathan is here. Nathan always keeps me under control. I appreciate it. Your turn for special mention.
Oh, sorry.
Would you like me to do
special mention?
Whoever. I'm down. I'm down if you like. Whoever. What do you feel?
Okay. I'll do the special mention. You do you do the top pod.
Perfect.
So this is a bit of a sad one. But
yeah, this is not optimal.
But one that we've got to give props to, and we had to do this last year too. So this is another repeat award, because we did the Hidden Gem Award last year. We did Best New Brewery last year. Those are all good ones, but we also did a Gone But Not Forgotten last year, which we did for Barn Cats. That was a sad one. That one hurt a lot.
And to this day, I was talking about him on the Toronto craft beer subreddit like today, because someone wanted a wheat wine. They couldn't find one. I'm like, well, if you come to Durand, I didn't want to put them on blast, but I did them a favor. And then they were like, oh, I didn't know they did one. They managed to find one somewhere else. So I was like, and then mad people are commenting about that and stuff. And I was like,
okay.
Oh man, wow, that hurts. Like, people are still hurting to this.
It still hurts.
And
I actually still have that maple wheat wine in my fridge.
So do I.
I
haven't had it yet. Yeah.
It's one that hurts to open, right?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want them to sit too long, but I also feel, I'm like, I know this is final. Durand does have some more of some of the stuff, but I
also do have some sweet release, the barley wine too, and I feel like that was never going to go bad. That was never going to go bad.
It's never going to go bad, but I think Durand is kind of out of them. So whatever you've got, that's it. I don't know who else might have them. Yeah, I've got all of them. I've only ever had the one out of the can. There's a single barrel, double barrel. Like, I still got to try it, but
yep.
Oof.
Anyway, enough kind of delaying this. So another Gone But Not Forgotten, and this is one that was announced this week, just this week, mere days ago. And this one hurts for us, being the big fans of bottle shops in Ontario that we are. This is the Wheel Brew, announced that they are closing in a couple of weeks' time at the end of January.
This was rough, even though we never got out there.
Yeah.
I'm not really out that way too much. That was
it's in Barrie, Ontario, for those who don't know. So
it's a very small bar and craft beer store.
Yeah,
one of the best in the province.
Like, definitely one of the best in the province. And like we've never been on site, but we follow their social religiously, and like we've seen the pictures and just kind of seen the vibes that Evan puts out there. The kind of events that he hosts and just his enthusiasm for Ontario craft beer, the kind of stuff that he managed to stock in his shop, and just the relationships that he built with with Ontario brewers is just unparalleled. It's the case of and the collabs that he's done over the years paint that picture of the relationships that he built. Doing collabs with Badlands, with Wood Bros, with Third Moon, all of these folks who he's built a relationship with and who love him and the work that he did, and just kind of what he kind of really upped the game for what Ontario independent bottle shops can be. I really feel.
I agree, and not to mention the Haze Fest, which they do. And I'm kind of like extra pissed because it didn't work because I was traveling so much in the summer. But he invited us to the Haze Fest to do like a live pod. I'm like, I couldn't swing it.
Yeah,
like it just didn't work.
Too bad.
And I was like, fuck, man, that's a sick idea. And I love the, doing it. Plus the Hayes House glassware that he was doing that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We both use regularly.
Brilliant.
The wave glass and the little balloon glass are very iconic. And, man. And, just his, even the fact you do the Haze Fest is so cool that he's even spending the time to do that and bring the breweries up, and you have this whole event based around it, and people vote in the best haze. And I think it's a big loss because I don't know if that region has anything like that. And I don't like seeing, whilst I don't like seeing breweries close, I feel like a store closing kind of hurts a little differently because those are the people who curate the beer experience, right? For a consumer. Durand, if anything ever happened to Durand out here, I can't express the level of devastation. I would be fucked. I can't even express what I would.
And honestly, even I would too, because I don't have truthfully, I don't have the same kind of shop here in Ottawa that you have in Durand. That's why I go to you to get me all of that stuff, and you send it to me, is because you can get it there and I don't have it here. And which makes me feel like the folks in Barrie must be devastated at this loss. Craft beer fans in Barrie must be shook at this.
Heavily. And rightfully so. They should be fucked up by this. This is terrible news. I didn't want to bother Evan because I feel like we had him on the pod and it was a brilliant episode, but I also don't know him like that to be like, hey man, what happened? I don't want to go and bother him about anything. He did say in his Facebook post he was going to stay in the industry, which is encouraging. So that means maybe there's some more things to get him involved, because I feel like he's if you're passionate enough to open a store and to do this festival and to do these glassware and to do all this stuff and go to him, Chris from Durand and Mark from Sidewalk are the ones that are going to Third Moon and Badlands and all that stuff every week to get this shit going there. You have no other way. Troy doesn't fucking distribute. Third Moon doesn't distribute. You want that shit, you got to go get it. And he did it. I don't know how much his round trip was from Barrie. Probably pretty similar to Chris's round trip from Hamilton. But dude, you can't buy that level of dedication, man. You can't buy that. That's special. So whilst once, Nate and I are both upset that we didn't get to visit it, definitely much love and much respect to Evan. I really want to see him involved in beer and doing something else that's important to him, and that he can bring his passion to whatever that is, whether it's working for a brewery or some other sort of setup. I don't like hearing this, because this is not really okay. That he would have to close as a small.
It's really unfortunate. I got the impression from his post, because he did mention kind of trying to make the best decision for his family or whatnot. So I am hoping that if it was a decision that he needed to make, just for what's best for his family, that makes me happier than if it's like purely just that the business is rough and it forced him to close. I'd be happier with that. Like, I know that he's got a son that's about the same age as my son, and I feel like, a lot of time on the road needing to go out to travel to these breweries and whatnot is probably a bit hard, like on his family with a young kid and whatnot. So I have a feeling that probably played a role. There are probably numerous factors at play, but if that was a factor, just kind of like the needing to make the best decision for his family, I certainly respect that.
I hadn't thought of it that way. I think that's actually a really good framing for this. That's actually really dope, man. That's cool. But look, man, much love to Evan. Thank you for everything you've done for craft beer. If he's listening, Matt, much success in future. If we can support in any way, we'd love to, because you're a good dude and you're doing your shit. I imagine you're gonna fall if you're trying to stay in craft beer, you're gonna fall where you need to. And I'm sure
there are lots of people in this scene that love you.
Very much so. And that level of support that he's given isn't going to, I would really, really hope that it's not going to go unnoticed.
Nah,
unseen.
No one's going to forget that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, sucks we have to give that award, but imagine we're going to have to do it every year at this point.
Probably.
Which kind of sucks, a fat cock, but here we are. So, shouts to Evan. All right. So then the final top pod of 2024 was one of the more recent ones. I think we did this in mid-ish December.
And it dropped on Christmas Day.
It dropped Christmas Day, which was, I was sick as a bitch, and it was pretty easy for me to be able to promote it, because I thought if I wasn't sick, I would be getting lit and eating a lot, and it would be quite difficult to put it out. But I was in bed for 5 days, so worked out okay. There was episode 188 and called Night of the Brewers Paddle with Jen Tamsey of Beer Town, which was her second appearance on the pod.
Yes.
Another person, excuse me, speaking of, Evan and his, how well liked and loved he is, Jen is the same, I swear.
Absolutely.
You bring her name up to any craft brewer in Ontario, and they're going to be like, fucking that lady is phenomenal.
Yes.
And she's so switched on with business and also with beer. She understands the nuances of beer. And that's the type of person that you need to be really running the show at a place like Beer Town. So people don't know, Beer Town is a chain of restaurants, essentially, that are craft beer bars across Ontario. And they are not mostly in major cities. They are all in places like London, Burlington, Kitchener.
Yeah. And
they
are expanding further. Like, they've got a couple of locations in Toronto now, but they expanded out from the KW Cambridge.
I'm sorry, area. You are so right. They are in Toronto. Someone told me that the other, and I was pissed because it was near. I think it was once we posted on the pod, or where we realized they were in the close somewhere downtown Toronto that I didn't know that they were, because I would have gone there before a show as opposed to somewhere else. Sorry, thank you for correcting me on that. But either way, they are the gateway destination for craft beer for Ontario. And now this last pod was super cool, because they'd opened up a few more spots since the last time we had Jen on. And they had a record-breaking tap takeover. They had 12 locations, and they did a Bellwoods tap takeover. And Bellwoods is one of the few breweries that could actually pull this off because of their sheer breadth of the portfolio. And basically a Bellwoods tap takeover on every fucking spot. Imagine like 12 locations with, I can't remember the volume of taps, like 10-ish on each one, and they were different because to make it sort of interesting. So it's not the same ones in every one. So you could go to all the different beer towns and try all the different Bellwoods beers. So smart, so cool. The collabs that they're done, like even just once again, the curation, like Jen is like top tier.
Oh my God, yeah.
Legendary curation for the pod. Unmatched, as far as she sent 4 collabs, one with Rob of Shortfinger, one with Bellwoods that they did for the Tap Takeover, one that she was present for in Belgium for the Deliria, for the women's day beer. And the last was the Beer Geek Breakfast. It was brewed out here by Craft Brand Co. from McKellar. And it was just like, what a fantastic conversation. She always sends the menu and these extra things.
Oh my God. Like such a well curated selection for the episode 2 times in a row. And She was also like her episode was also in our top 5 favorite episodes of 2023 as well. Like just to show you how good a guest she is. She's been in our top 5 episodes 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. It's she's a gem. She's such a gem. And I think she is the type of person that any beer scene needs, like really needs around to keep that going. And Beer Town is like when we had them on, I hadn't been. So I've been to Oakville, I went to Burlington, and I think might have been another one. Loved it. Loved it so much.
And I've
man.
been and I've been to Waterloo, Cambridge, and Burlington a couple of times.
Okay, because you had been at the time and I hadn't. So in the meantime, I'd made sure I'd been. And dude, every time I go there, like I had the French Fuse collab with Shortfinger at Burlington, at Oakville, I'm sorry. And, you know, every time I go, I'd also get Bone Tree from Third Moon because I'm not going to go there and not get Bone Tree. You fucking serious? It's on draft. Bone Tree? Third Moon is on draft at this fucking suburban ass areas.
Yep.
In this fantastic venue with great food, by the way. The food is great.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
like,
so good.
No, like it's not like some chain restaurant bullshit. Like it's really good. The servers know their shit.
It's one of my favorite brunch spots in Burlington when I go to visit my parents.
It's not too far from your parents' place, yes, because that was the first one I went to as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have like such a great curation. It changes all the time. Like, you know, they got Town and like fucking you name it, like just really good breweries on the list. And, you know, I love that it's accessible for new folks, hence the gateway destination, whilst being a circle jerk for dudes like us, where we can get super excited and grab Bone Tree. But if you're new and you grab Bone Tree and you're just like, oh, what is this yellow milky beer that tastes like mangoes and peaches? This is sick. You know, I just feel like it's an invaluable service to the craft beer community, and we will support them forever and ever and ever. So,
oh my god, yes,
Jen is a gem, a true gem, and the way that people speak
like another person that we're so lucky to have in the scene here.
So lucky. The way that people speak about her is behind her back is spectacular, and that's what you want. And so many people have done that for her to us separately and on the pod, and I think that speaks volumes to her character, but also to the business and what they're doing. So
no one has anything but good things to say about her.
How can you have anything less? It's brilliant. So huge shouts to Jen. So that is episode 188, Night of the Brewers Paddle. Not two, actually. This is 189.
There you go.
The last fucking episode. I didn't even think about that. So Nate, we've arrived.
It's time.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
as they say in The Lion King and on the much overused TikTok and Reels, it is time.
I don't know, but I love you for knowing that. Guys, the Brewery of the Year is an interesting thing to do. We started doing it. The reason we did it for Ontario because we were doing it for Quebec. And we were like, all right, we need to do a Brewery of the Year.
Yeah.
And what would be our criteria for a Brewery of the Year?
Oh, that is a tough one.
And I do want to put you on the spot, but we can riff on it.
I feel like Brewery of the Year means something different for us each year.
Yep.
Really it is like who has stood out in the scene and like what they stood out for can mean many different things. And I felt justified in who we've chosen each year. Like in 2022, when we chose Badlands, we felt that like first of all, because I feel like, you know, after having a bit of a dip, despite the fact that like, you know, they've been doing the best haze in the country for quite some time. In 2022, they were fucking on.
Oh.
And I feel like they were kind of putting Ontario and Canada as like top tier haze brewers on the map, like really, really making top tier stuff. And like, they were the ones that made us feel like, you know, we don't need to travel to Vermont. Like we've got the best shit right here. So that so that is what made Badlands stand out that year for us.
Yes.
Last year, Godspeed stood out because it was a case of, okay, you know what? all of these kind of relationships with these Czech brewers. No one else has this anywhere in the world. It and the kind of stuff that we are brewing, that's being brewed right here in Toronto, is not is not happening anywhere else outside the Czech Republic, and there's a reason for that. It's because there's there is such skill behind this brewer who is making something so special right here. So that mattered. That Godspeed stood out last year. So it's what stands out. So, and we've got something that stands out in this brewery right here, which we'll detail very shortly. Shall we announce who it is?
I think we should. Are we ready?
Right.
And
here we go.
This couldn't be more deserved, and I'm very excited that this brewery is Brewery
So
of the Year for 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Brewery of the Year for Ontario for 2024 is Counterpart. Counterpart Brewing in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Nathaniel, where do we start?
They have had such a banger year. And where to start, I think we can start with them being on the top 10 last year, because I remember as we were talking about this, we were angry with ourselves that we weren't more turned on to this to this brewery earlier.
Yes.
Was kind of the big thing last year.
It was a little infuriating to us both that I always just feel like if something is this good, how has somebody not told us about this particular institution? And Counterpart really represented that. So we had Greg on the pod in 2023, and this was at a time when I was like, always confused Counterpoint and Counterpart, which
and I feel like they even launched at it in the same
time.
Particularly confusing.
Those poor dudes. Shasta Graham as well at Counterpoint.
Yeah.
And
the two Counter P brewers.
And when we had Greg on first, it was, I would argue, it was the haze that grabbed us. And the other beer that we both got rock solid over was the Kolsch.
Yes.
That we
full circle,
Kolsch,
which they brought back in 2024, and I was excited about. I placed an order and got a 6-pack of it. It was so good.
Did you really? Oh, yeah.
I did. I absolutely did. I was like, I need as many of this as I can get.
I fucking love it. So look, I'm gonna be honest. I was at Counterpart yesterday, and I needed some fresh Counterpart because I know that Durand wasn't. Greg even told me that Durand wasn't getting an order until next week, so I had to go down. And I made it home just in time to eat and then have a podcast last night. It's been the time. And we're also, Nate and I are both planning the BAOS 10th anniversary for April and May. And that has taken up a lot of our time, and it's been fucking hectic. Even today I had 2 phone calls about that as well. It's a lot. So I was there with Greg, and what was my point? I had a point. I was going to have a point about this. I've forgotten. God damn it. But
slippery little bastards, aren't they?
Points, right? Jesus Christ. But yeah, man, just I told him this. This is what it was. We had Greg on, when was it? October? Because it was Halloween. Yeah. After the Halloween drop. They had a Halloween drop. Right after Halloween. So early November. And we had 5 beers, 5 mostly haze, and then they dropped 2 bottles as well, which was the bat one. What's it called?
Vanquish. It wasn't even there were 3 haze and 2 stouts because we had 2 of the rollers, remember?
You're so right. The low ABV stouts, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I told Greg that Nate and I were texting during that pod, and we were like, Counterpart is Brewery of the Year. It's no fucking question. Now, why a Counterpart Brewery of the Year? And that's why you were sort of quantifying earlier. First of all, cheers. Let's drink some Counterpart because I'm excited for this one.
Yes, indeed.
What do you have, by the way? Cheers, brother.
So I've got Drip, which is a series that they've got. There's also some double drips as well. But this drip is with Nectaron, Rawaka, and Moteca.
Love it. And that's 6.5?
It is 6.5. It's quite dank on the nose, which, as mentioned before, I love.
Hell yeah.
And
It looks glorious as old
this
Counterpart
is the
haze
second
does.
can of it that I've had. I've already had it once, and it's
It's money.
excellent. It's so good. And
I love
I
it.
see you've got Bulls on Parade there, and I just had that last night actually, and it's
The
also
2024.
fire. Yeah.
Yep, it's the 2024 version because I wasn't sure. It's actually got a separate untapped check-in, which is why I'm reviewing it because I wasn't sure if it did. It's Citra Waka 6.5 as well. It's spectacular. Excuse me. And they the thing about Counterpart, I guess, it's almost like what can't they do? And this is what it comes down to because this is our criteria and there's a bunch of things. So if we look at the Crispies, you know, like you said, you brought back full circle a Kolsch. Pure, their Pilsner, just their regular year-round Pilsner, exceptional.
Yep.
They opened Counterpie in November or early December. They had the Pizza Pills. Fucking crazy. Like it was the first thing. It's called Pizza Pills. And this is something that I saw on Instagram for that dude. I think it's Beer Aficionado or something. The dude who works for Revolution in Chicago.
Yep.
And he was talking about beers for an occasion because he was talking about it was called pizza wine. And it was wine that was made for that. When Tiff and I went to Counterpie on the soft opening, they had pizza pills. I'm like, I'm getting the pizza pills. Of course I'm getting the pizza pill. What the fuck? This is a beer made to drink with the pizza that I'm about to eat. And I feel like that was money. All their Krispies are money. The haze, from pale ales to singles, doubles, triples, like everything is impeccable. It's as good. Like Greg is the thing is that Greg, even though I imagine there's other people actually making the beer, I never actually asked him if he's physically making the beer, but he's a beer nerd trader.
He is. He
gets
hard. If you follow him individually on Instagram, like you can see he's into some serious shit.
That's what I said to him. I'm like, bro, you drinking, man. You got some shit, bro. So he's like kind of like Chris and Bebo, like old school traders that are just getting like the fire. He's got people that he sends to and that he, hooks up with his shit and hook him back up and da. So he's established that over years. So he knows his stuff. He is first and foremost a craft beer enthusiast and drinker. And I think that's what dictates why Counterpart is so fire because he knows he drinks from everywhere and he knows what is good. He's so fucking switched on. The haze is just, it can do no wrong. Like when we were at the Halloween, man, like the Monsters one that was impeccable.
Yeah.
The Dead Sea collab with Laketch with
honey.
My
god, that was spectacular.
I had it on draft, so I had Pizza Pills, and then I had that one on draft at the opening of Counterpie, and then I grabbed cans to go for both of us. And I had it on draft and can. It was just spectacular both ways. The Zombie, the Smoothie Sour series is always killer.
Yep,
fantastic. I grabbed them. I didn't actually have one, but I grabbed it yesterday, and Tiff had one. They have zero alcohol, like sparkling waters, as well, which I hadn't tried before. So I grabbed them. Tiff had one of them. Was the flavor was Island Punch, and she loved it. She said it was awesome. But let's talk about the serious shit.
So I will just before we get into that, while we're still talking about the haze, one thing I'll say about their haze is that their haze is never harsh, ever.
It's so drinkable and it's so smooth.
And that is not true for almost anyone.
No.
There is Badlands makes the best haze in the country. I stand by that. But there are some haze, and some of my favorite haze, some of it is quite harsh. And and that's true for Third Moon as well. Some of it can be pretty aggressive on the palate. Counterpart haze is never aggressive on the palate, I find. Even when it's really boldly hopped, even when the flavors are bold, it's never harsh.
No, not
at all. It's kind of one of the things.
Not at all. And you make a great point. It's always so drinkable. They're always incredibly balanced. Like even this is 18th of December, 10th. So it's just shy of 3 weeks.
Yep.
So it's still super fresh, big, bright, aromatic, all the flavor profiles you'd want.
Yep. And oh man, that like the dank on this,
Yeah.
I just want to keep smelling this.
I did grab that drip as well. It was just spectacular. Like
Yeah.
it's the fact that they're so consistent with the haze, with the haze.
Huge.
And like the other styles, the crispies, even like they don't do a ton of crispies. Pure's basically year round. Now this piece of pills is around, and you got things like Full Circle. They did extra pure a year or two ago for the anniversary. He even told me what they're doing for the anniversary for this year, which I'll tell you off air. Like all the brews they got doing the collabs is crazy. Greg is a very respected young man, like and rightfully so. He's such a champion. I love talking to that dude.
So do I.
And
like again, when we had him back on, like another great episode, like another really great episode.
We gotta have him on every year. We really do. And this is really what I got to shout out. This is my beer of the year right here.
Yeah, hit me.
If I'm going to talk about it. Deciduous Double Barreled Grand Reserve, which is their double barrel, like 15.5%. Whoopsie.
Great choice.
Stout. I had the vanilla version on Wednesday. It's Friday now, so I had it on Wednesday, and it's fucking crazy. This was a bit more of a preference for me, but this is not only one of the most gorgeous.
Keep talking about it. I'll be right back. I'm going to try to go.
Of course. This is one of the most. I'm trying to tap. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to so I can show. There you go. Like, look at it. This is shiny. This is like full shiny on a matte background here with this gorgeous gold wax here. It's just the classiest looking bottle and one of the best beers I've ever had. Like, it's spectacular. And they did basically this one. Is it 15.5? Yep. And then the vanilla one that I had the other night. And oops, this way. And dude, the reason we didn't even drink any of the stouts during the pod.
No.
And we knew that
not
haze,
any of these stouts.
Not these stouts. No, we didn't do any of them because we were like, neither of us wanted to waste a drop.
Exactly.
Particularly Vanquish. And we're like, no, we're not wasting that.
I haven't even gotten into those yet because I haven't had the right moment yet. But
tell me about it. I got too much. I haven't even had the coniferous, and that's the barley wine.
And that's what I just ran away for because if you were going to share your top beer of the year, I had to share mine too. And this is something and if we're talking about what stood out this year, Counterpart and their barrel program is
second to none.
It's next level. For me, with the loss of Barncat in 2023, who I think at the time were doing the best barrel aged beers in Ontario.
Facts.
If we talk about stouts and barley wines, I think at the time no one was doing it better. If I asked who picked up the torch from that, for me, it's Counterpart. No question. And so for me, on my beer of the year,
the triple barrel.
Please tell me
blend.
This is going to focus. Okay. Oh,
there we go.
We're kind of it. All right.
It's getting there.
So the coniferous purple, which is the blend. This was sheer perfection for me.
Show that wax. The wax.
Oh yeah.
And
again, this is how all of his wax labels go. Like he's even just down to the wax, he's like very deliberate about it, just kind of being
that one drip that drips all the way down.
Yeah,
isn't that fucking cool?
Yes. So this year with coniferous, there were 4 bottles of this. Like this one, which was released separately, and then 3 individual bottles that were released over the anniversary.
Yeah.
So this one was the blend, and for my money, it was the best of them. And this one was a barley wine, aged 26 months in a blend of Willet bourbon, Basil Hayden bourbon, and 10-year Templeton Rye Reserve whiskey barrels. And the 3 others were each of those individual barrel ones, and this was the blend of all 3. And this one was utter perfection for me.
I'm so excited to have that, and I've got that like next up on my drinking list because I want to get it before it sort of starts to get, changes too much.
Yeah,
He was telling me that it's still drinking amazing, and he feel like it's
I
changed a
believe
little
that.
bit, and he
I
said it's
believe that.
changed in a good way.
Yeah.
I wanted to have stuff before I got too old, particularly that's why I had the other deciduous Steve, which I actually kept down here, the vanilla version of deciduous, same thing, but just the vanilla, and just like it's not even just the quality of the beer. Like, how do you get this wax drip every time? How
Oh
do
my
you
God. And look at
this?
those labels. They're so beautiful.
Look at that. So he says gloss and then matte, and then the sparkly. It's just like the attention to detail is so A1, both on the outside and the inside of the bottle. I've never experienced anything like this in Canada, and I feel like these alone, from the coniferous and the deciduous drops, which were earlier in 2024, like, you know what's funny? Like, when they were available, I'm not a morning person, and they go for sale on like a Saturday morning, and I text Greg, I'm like, hey, I'd like 2 of everything. And he's like, cool, I'll let you know how it goes if there's some left afterwards, because you don't want to fuck over the people who come to line up for it, right? Totally understand. He's like, text me afterwards. He said, hey man, I got these aside for you. They didn't all go. I'm like, I'll be there in an hour. And that happened multiple times this year in 2024. And I'm like, God, we're fortunate to be, I don't know, it's like on a good day. Yesterday when I went down, it was like 47 minutes from home to there. I'm like, fuck, what a blessing. Like, to be able to go down, I check to get beers that are as good. And this is, you thought is that the best, but like, that's as good as anything in the States, essentially, is what you're.
This is the best barley wine I've ever tasted.
And I would probably say that the deciduous stout is the best stout I've ever tasted too. And I've had a decent amount from a lot of places.
Yeah, I've had that deciduous as well. It's top 5.
Special, man. Yeah. I've had some good stuff. I had the Pappy Van Winkle fucking barrel aged other half shit, and Greg stuff's up there, man. Like, it's very special. So the fact that you can do haze on the level of anything else, you can do crispies that just slap. You do the smoothies and the other blender series of sours that, like, blenders kind of like normal sours, which are fine. Zombie, I quite like. All of their smoothies. You're doing these stouts and barley wines at a level that's god tier. Like, as far as like it's if you want to compare it to the States, maybe that's a different conversation. And he is very humble about the comparisons. But
I would say it's in that conversation.
Fucking oath it is. It's not even
Yeah.
a joke. I've seen a bunch of my American friends, particularly Will Cleveland, who I might have mentioned earlier. Like, he's one of the big beer writers from Rochester, and he goes. I've met him at Counterpart like 2 or 3 times, and he fucking gushes over them. Like, he actually just dropped today his email for his best beers of 2024, and there was a Counterpart beer on it. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was deciduous, or maybe it was coniferous. It was one of the two. It was something like that. One of the barrel aged stuff. He was like, as good as anything else.
Yeah.
I'm just like, so the Americans are loving it, and it's just like, I don't know, man. We're just so fortunate to have these dudes in Niagara Falls, like, not that far, and doing products of this quality. It's very special, and I made sure to tell Greg how fucking incredible he is. I know he's a very humble dude, and he's gracious with the compliments and stuff, and probably it's not the most comfortable thing for him, I bet.
Yeah,
But
probably not.
every time Tiff's always like, Craig's always talking about how much he fucking loves your shit. I'm like, shut up, why are you fucking saying this to him? Relax, he's right there.
Be cool.
Yeah, be cool, man. Like, come on, fuck. Why you have to tell him? Fuck. But, like, man, I'm not gonna hide it. Like, it's best of the best for me, man. And I feel
Absolutely.
like we at the end of the day, the best way to summarize it is that Counterpart's overall offerings in 2024, from crispies to haze to smoothies to barrel program, was the best of anything that we had both tried in 2024. Is that a fair summary?
Absolutely.
and it couldn't be more well deserved. It's
Yeah.
And then now they've opened that second Counterpart, the pizza joint next door to the place, and it's such a fantastic tap room. That's another thing as well. I've probably also been that, aside from Barrel Heart, which is the closest to me because it's like 20 minutes away. Counterpart's like 40, 50 minutes away. I've been there, but that would be probably the second place I went to the most. And every time someone's in town, if I can, I'm gonna take you to Counterpart. It's just such a phenomenal experience. The food, the beer, the vibes, the staff are always lovely. It's been basically since I've been there, I'll basically see the same staff all the time. That's a good sign of a good business if you're seeing the same
That is a good
staff.
sign.
In
Absolutely.
hospitality has a turnover. If I'm seeing the same stuff, I saw dudes in the Counterpart part who recognized me from being a customer, not from BAOS, but just from being a customer on the other side. When we came
That's
to
a
the
really
soft
good
launch.
sign.
And I was like, I've seen you before. He goes, yeah, I've seen you. You've been on the other side. I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. And it was just, it's such a great experience. So I think they treat the team really well. And
I love that. I love
yeah,
that.
and I feel like that's the vibe I get from Greg. He's just a fucking dude, man. Like he's just a good. And I met his wife Andrea as well at the launch of the pizza. She was lovely, and she was very, very had some very kind words to say about BOS and stuff. And she's such a sweetheart. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's like every time I go there, I fall more and more in love with Counterpart. I gotta get you down there, bro.
Yeah, I need to get out there. I really do.
Next time you come there, come down to Burlington. We have some time. We have no choice. We have to do it.
Okay, that's a must hit on the list next time.
It really is for Brewery of the Year. So, is there anything else we want to gush over them for?
I think we hit it, man. Like 2024 was a good year for Ontario beer. Like we're so fortunate where we are.
I would almost say it's the best year to date. In a time that's unpredictable as far as economically and all the different forces that are causing businesses to open, close, and all the different things. I think we've had one of the best years in Ontario. Hence, this being such a difficult decision. There are so many breweries that people will be like, what about? I'm like, I know. I'm thinking of them as we're talking about this. I'm like, fuck, what about? I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, what about?
I get it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you're thinking, what about? Fuck yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what are we going to do? Because we only have 10 spots and it is what it is.
Yep.
It's a spectacular time. The fact maybe it's almost like we have to do a top 20 to make it, it's somewhat fair. That would be a 7 hour.
But then we're like, we did a top 10 and we're already at 3.5 hours.
So exactly right. We do literally a 7 hour podcast if we do a top 20. So, in all said and done, like it's very cool that we're able to live in a time where there's this many incredible breweries offering incredible experiences, liquid, food, humans, all the above, in this one province that we can travel to with just a vehicle and no crossing provincial lines, country lines. Like it's, we have to definitely, thank the beer gods for this, because it's very cool. I'm very grateful to be in this time where we have all of this, and that if it was an easy decision, once again, that would be boring. This is, if it's got to be a difficult decision for us every year, and we have to, and then people have to be mad at us. That's really how it has to go down. So it's okay.
I'm fine with that.
I'm okay too.
I am so happy that we had 4 first-time appearances on the top 10 this year. And I'm so happy that for the 3rd time in a row, we've had a new number 1.
Ooh.
I love that. I think that speaks so well to the evolution of the scene in Ontario and just kind of the quality of beer and the breadth of just the breadth of talent that we have in the province here.
Couldn't agree more. And I'd like to see that continue as far as a different brewery every year.
Yeah.
That impresses us enough to be like, oh, they're the brewery of the year. Like if we are texting each other in the middle of a podcast, like this is the fucking brewery. Like,
yep.
That's what we want to see, because this is like a passion thing for us. That's what drew us. And we're basically just following our guts and doing, and calling it how we see it. And we hope you guys do too as well. And if anyone watching or listening has any thoughts, like Nate said earlier, let us know in the comments if you have, if you think we missed somebody, or you think somebody's going to be, who do you actually, even a better question, cool, you can tell us who we missed, that's fine, but even cooler, who do you think is going to dominate in 2025? Like, who do you think is going to come out the gate and just slam it? I mean, it's only January 10th as of the recording, but 10th. Well, it's now after midnight.
Now it's the 11th, but
now it's the 11th. Either way, it's like, it's early on in the month. We've got 11 and a half months ahead of us. Who do you think is going to really impress? Is going to, maybe come out? It'd be cool if there's somebody left field, like out of the blue, that's going to be like, oh shit, like these folks are like dominating. So this is fun, man. This is a fun episode. I really enjoyed doing this. I guess I didn't think it'd be this long, but I think it's worth it. And I think people who are into it would probably appreciate the rambling about all the how much we're gassing up everybody.
I think so too.
So with that, Nathaniel, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me everywhere at Nathan Does Beer.
Gang. Guys, thank you for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up. Hit subscribe below, hit that notification button, Nathaniel.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you're going. Give us 5 stars. Give us 5 stars for Ontario craft beer. Let the networks know, let the platforms know that craft beer is in the building. That would be very helpful. And we're going to keep this pushing. Nate and I got a lot of stuff happening this year. We're going to do some more business of beer. We've got lots of different pods. If there's anyone you think we should have on, let us know. If you are a brewery watching or listening and you'd like to be on, please reach out. Instagram, email, whatever, everywhere. You can reach out to either of us, and we'd love to chat with you. So, folks, appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Peace out.